KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A possible government shutdown is less than a week away. If it happens and President Trump gets his wish, some federal workers will be gone for good.
Agencies usually furlough workers during shutdowns, not lay them off permanently. CBS News has obtained a memo from the White House Budget Office that tells agencies to consider reduction in force notices if no spending bill is passed by Tuesday's deadline. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
It's clear that Donald Trump and House Republicans and Senate Republicans are running scared.
Democrats are demanding a rollback of Medicaid cuts and an extension of health insurance tax credits. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
With the clock ticking, sources tell CBS News the Justice Department is close to making a decision on whether to seek an indictment against a longtime nemesis of President Trump's. Correspondent Scott McFarland.
The person who'll decide whether to recommend charges against former FBI Director James Comey in Virginia is Lindsay Halligan, the new U.S. attorney there. Just days ago, she was a White House aide and Trump confidant and replaces a U.S. attorney who allegedly declined to move forward with the case against Comey.
The statute of limitations on his 2016 congressional testimony claiming Mr. Trump's campaign had ties to Russia expires next Tuesday. The FBI says yesterday's shooting outside an ICE office in Dallas that killed a detainee and left two others in critical condition was an act of targeted violence. Special agent in charge, Joe Rothrock.
Rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature.
Officials say the gunman opened fire from a nearby rooftop before he killed himself. Sean Combs is scheduled to appear at a court hearing in New York today that could determine how much time he'll spend behind bars on his prostitution conviction. Legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
The prosecution has said there's plenty here. There's plenty to show that not only were these encounters not consensual, but that there was enough to show that Sean Combs did form the intent necessary for these prostitution charges.
Sentencing is scheduled for a week from tomorrow. Meantime, the rap mogul's facing new allegations of sexual assault from his former stylist. What could be one of the world's most valuable coins is hitting the auction block in London today. Aaron Carter at Stanley Gibbon Baldwin.
It's roughly the size of a basketball, 3.6 kilograms of gold. It's 6,500 diamonds. They've been created in tribute to the celebration of Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Bidding starts at around $4 million. Dow futures are up 4, S&P futures down 11. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today.
Are you 40 years old in great health and want life insurance coverage with no exam and instant coverage options? Big Lou can do that. Are you 50 to 60 with health issues and still want life insurance coverage with no exam needed? Big Lou can do that. Are you on meds for anxiety, sleep apnea, diabetes, or other health glitches and just want the best rate possible without a lot of hassles? Big Lou can do that. To find the most affordable term life coverage options for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Big Lou does term life insurance better than anyone else on the radio, and he may be able to get you $1 million to $4 million of term life coverage with no exam. For the best term life insurance deals in America, call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777. Remember, Big Lou is like you. Once a week, he can do that too. Call 800-230-2777 or visit biglou.com.
It is 6:04, and right now we've got mostly clear skies, 61 degrees in downtown St. Louis. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The largest federal investment in St. Louis history will be unveiled tomorrow. The National Geospatial Intelligence Agency's new Western headquarters. Governor Mike Kehoe tells Missouri Net he plans to be at the ceremony to celebrate the $1.75 billion project.
This is a great catalyst to help rebuild the north side. We had the unfortunate tornado, as you know, in May. So taking the resources we need to help rebuild the tornado, capitalizing on NGA, I think it's an incredible time for St. Louis to take advantage of kind of a rebirth.
The new 16-block headquarters will replace the NGA's current downtown site and will employ about 3,100 workers. The agency provides intelligence and combat support in national security, emergency response, among other things.
No, the union has not been invited to sit down at the table.
That's AFT Local 420 spokesman Byron Clemens speaking with KMOX about the St. Louis Public School Superintendent Millicent Borichetti releasing the release on her meeting with DESE and school leadership.
We would encourage the superintendent to include parents, taxpayers, and the people who do the work in the schools every day, represented by their unions, all 5 of the unions.
But so far, that has not happened.
We would suggest the superintendent considering going back to the basics, including all the stakeholders at the table, and not trying to do this on their own.
Last month, Local 420 presented a no confidence vote on Borichetti to the school board, but they have not had a response to their vote as of yet.
More uncertainty for residents living in Cades Cove in Florissant as the Army Corps of Engineers starts their remediation project on radiation.
It's uncertain because, first off, only 6 houses in that entire subdivision are being torn down. The others will remain. And secondly, they're going to keep Duchenne Park open. Just Moms STL's Dawn Chapman says trauma is becoming a reality for these residents.
We have had quite a few people that are upset because they're like, hey, kids play in that park. We're going to be using that to transport radioactive waste out, staging, and it's not just impacting those 6 homes. It's impacting that whole subdivision, and it's also impacting that park.
With this park, what's the reason for not wanting to keep the park completely closed up? If they said?
They have not. And, for us, obviously, me not living in that area, we're just encouraging people to have those conversations with their elected officials and their mayor and their representatives, because that is a decision that those folks need to make there.
Florissant learned just last week that the Army Corps of Engineers will start their remediation. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Sheriff Alfred Montgomery's legal team is in court fighting to block a newly signed bill requiring the Sheriff's Department to transport detainees in need of medical care.
Attorneys are arguing they were never legally required
right now.
Detainees in need of medical care, and that previous sheriffs only agreed to do so. Montgomery's predecessor, Sheriff Vernon Betts, weighs in.
I always thought it was something that we were required to do. I never looked specifically at the law, but I always thought that was something we did it when I was a sheriff deputy. We did it when I was a sheriff, and whether it's required by law or not, it's something that has to be done.
David Mason, Sheriff Montgomery's attorney, says Betts' testimony is not trustworthy due to the sour relationship between him and Montgomery. He thinks his side made a compelling case for a temporary restraining order to block the law.
The irreparable harm will be suffered by the court system, by the courts, if security is undermined by forcing the sheriff to create a new hospital unit with his existing staff.
The city councilor's office argued the irreparable harm was being done to the City Justice Center with the additional strain on their lack of manpower we first told you about on Monday. No decision was reached. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
It's 6:08, traffic and weather next.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with cherry berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and
they make me want to eat one of those.
Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this.
More than I would like. I don't like those.
At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Scammers, stalkers, criminals. They're looking for your personal information and finding it easier than you think. With Incogni, you can reduce your personal information exposure on the web. Your name, address, and phone number are shared on hundreds of public websites right now. Your family details, even where you live. It's all online, collected and sold by data brokers without your consent, putting you at serious risk. Someone could show up at your door, use your information to steal your identity, send scam messages to your parents, or drain your accounts in minutes. Incogni removes your personal data from hundreds of websites that expose your details, making it much harder for the wrong people to reach you. Because if they can't find you, they can't harm you. Get 1 year of Incogni Unlimited for 55% off today at Incogni.com and let Incogni remove your personal data from the web for you. That's INCOGNI.com. Take back control of your privacy and reclaim your peace of mind.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10 and time for us to check in with Frank Ladd and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're still working with this crash. It's that overturned tractor-trailer on southbound Highway 270. The ramp to St. Charles Rock Road remains closed. This is not impacting the through lanes at all on southbound Highway 270, so that's the good news. You're going to be able to get by this crash fairly easily if you don't want to get off the exit at the Rock Road. So far this morning, we're not seeing too many delays anywhere else into downtown St. Louis. We look good. Westbound 5570, westbound 5564, crossing the Poplar, westbound Highway 70, crossing the Musial Veterans Bridge. We do have that incident in the Metro East. IDOT reporting eastbound on Highway 64 255. The right lane and the right shoulder remain closed there, but not seeing any traffic delays due to that incident. Starting to see a little more volume northbound on Highway 55, ramping on to 270 northbound and 270 northbound. A few more headlights and taillights as well between 55 and 44. Our next traffic update at 6:20. I'm Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, here's AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with some good news.
A nice day today with sunshine returning, a beautiful afternoon with lower humidity, high 76, and clear and comfortably cool tonight. We'll dip into the upper 40s in some of the coolest suburbs to about 56 downtown at the Arch. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow. A beautiful day, the high 80. Saturday, sunny and warm, high 83. Sunshine and warm for Sunday and Monday, high both days 86. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's 61 in Florissant, 62 in St. Peters, mostly clear, 62 degrees downtown at the Arch. The weather sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
The Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. It's an unlikely comeback for one of St. Louis's most important companies.
Anheuser-Busch hit rough times 2 years ago, but now,
you got to give it to AB.
Michelob Ultra is now the #1 beer in America, at least if you're measuring by the volume of Suds poured, displacing Modelo, which had previously displaced Bud Light. Harry Shoemaker is publisher of Beer Business Daily.
In a tough beer market, nobody's drinking beer right now. Beer's down, 5%. Wine's down 5%. Spirits are down 5%. Everybody's down 5%. And for them to be growing share is, it's a pretty good achievement.
That share, he says, is coming from Miller and Coors, of course, but especially from craft breweries, which are taking a beating. And AB, the company, is expanding into new categories.
They also have other products like Cutwater and Neutral, which are growing very, very fast.
Shoemaker also says AB's put a ton into advertising.
Play you for those ultras?
Which has paid off. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is calling it a sad state of affairs when he says President Trump and the MAGA Republicans in Washington, D.C. have taken away mental and physical health care funding.
And it is one that Democrats in Washington are now saying to the president, hey, come to the table and negotiate with us or we won't vote for it. And if Donald Trump is unwilling to come to the negotiating table and work on this, well, then he's going to shut down the federal government. None of us want that.
Pritzker adds President Trump should keep the government open and be reasonable about restoring the medical health care he has taken away.
Serious questions raised after a man on federal supervised release walked into a Florissant middle school and checked out a 13-year-old student by lying to school officials. 43-year-old James Paulette faces charges of felony kidnapping. He apparently told police he did it so he could play video games with the victim.
According to investigators, Paulette convinced staff at Cross Keys Middle School there had been a family death, convincing them to release the girl into his custody on Tuesday morning. That girl was found safe at his house later that afternoon. Paulette is being held on a $500,000 cash-only bond. In a message to parents, the school district confirms the security breach and promises a full investigation.
In a move to retool its St. Louis operations for the future, Boeing says it'll phase out its FA-18 Super Hornet upgrade work here by 2027. The company says it needs the space to ramp up production on newer programs. Aerospace consultant Richard Abdullafia.
F-15 staying there, T-7 staying there, F-47 going to start there. It's all new build. So I'm not sure this is related to the labor disagreement because modification work is generally done at other Boeing facilities anyway.
Any remaining Super Hornet upgrade work will be moved to other states like Florida and Texas. Officials stress the decision is part of a long-term plan and not related to the current labor stoppage.
It's 6:15. Let's kick off our Cardinals coverage with KMOX's Matt Pauley.
The Cardinals fall to the Giants 4-3, which officially eliminates them from playoff contention. While it's looked bleak for a while, it becomes mathematically impossible with just 3 games left in the regular season. Manager Oliver Marmol is disappointed that the season will end on Sunday, but is also proud of his club.
End of the day, we come up short, but this group's done a really nice job with injuries and, some guys going down on the position player side, trade deadline, all of it, and still to fight to this point of the season is awesome.
This is the 3rd straight year the team has missed the playoffs. The last time they went 3 straight years without postseason play was from 2016 to 2018. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
AP Sports, I'm Gethin Coolbaugh. Aaron Judge went deep twice to tie the MLB record with his 4th 50 home run season, as the Yankees tied the Blue Jays for first place in the AL East with an 8-1 rout of the White Sox.
Felt good to get that, get in a win, and just kind of keep our momentum going.
Cal Raleigh hit his majors leading 59th and 60th homers in the Mariners' 9-2 rout of the Rockies. The Phillies hit a franchise record 8 homers in an 11-1 rout of the Marlins to seal a first-round postseason bye. NFL Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels says he feels good, and doctors will decide if he can return from a left knee injury on Sunday against the Falcons. And MLS, Lionel Messi scored twice in a 4-0 win over New York City FC to help Inter Miami clinch a playoff spot. Gethin Coolbaugh, AP Sports.
St. Louis City SC will play this weekend. They have a 7:30 game Saturday night against LAFC, one of the better teams in the West. There is also a hockey game at Enterprise Center on Saturday night. How about that? The Blues are taking on the Blackhawks. It's an exhibition game. It starts at 6 o'clock on Saturday. Also Saturday night in Columbia, Missouri, the 20th ranked team in the country will be taking on UMass. It's a 6:30 kickoff at Faurot Field. 23rd ranked Illinois will play Saturday morning, an 11 a.m. start against USC. We'll be watching all of it closely. KMOX will be following along as all of these sports start to ramp up, including the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black, the United States against Europe. Dan Reardon, our KMOX senior golf editor, will be analyzing that one for us. This is Total Information AM on KMOX on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan, along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss at the Audiology Center. When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family, not the clinking dishes.
And the best part, your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit the Audiology Center STL.com.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are focusing on the Siteman Kids program at St. Louis Children's Hospital, and joining us is Dr. Mohammed Abdul-Baki.
I'm the director of the Pediatric Brain Tumor Program at St. Louis Children's, as you know, and but in general, there are so many causes for childhood cancer that sometimes we know the reasons and sometimes we do not know the reasons. But if we try to focus on pediatric brain tumors, people sometimes may think that this is related to being married to a certain person or eating something or drinking something during pregnancy or before or after that may have led to issues, and that's not the case in most of our patients. So some brain tumors may happen because of hereditary reasons, but this is not the most common reason. The most common reason is that they may happen where we do not have any control.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 6:20 and time to get you updated on your ride in and the weather as well. It was a little wet overnight. You may encounter some wet roadways, but that should be moving out and done with for now. Frank Ladd joins us with the latest on your ride in from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, Debbie, so far I'm not seeing any slide-offs due to any wet roads, so that's something to pay attention to, though, as there still could be some of those spots out there. We are starting to see more volume northbound on Highway 55, ramping onto Highway 270 northbound, and then north of there on Highway 270 northbound up to about Gravel. Just headlights and taillights moving along, but a little busier, a little more bunched up. Similar story northbound on Highway 55 as you head into that work zone, starting at about Weber Road up to the River to Pear through South City, those pockets of slow traffic in that stretch there into the road construction zone. North of there into downtown St. Louis, no major delays. No delays into downtown from the Metro East, westbound 5564 crossing the Poplar, westbound Highway 70 crossing the Musial Veterans Bridge. We still do have the exit closed. It's southbound Highway 270. The exit ramp to St. Charles Rock Road remains closed. MoDOT expects that ramp to be back open by 7 a.m., but we're not seeing it open quite yet, so you got about 40 more minutes of hopefully they'll have that closed and should be back open by 7 a.m. That's their estimate so far. We're sponsored by the Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing Company. Our next traffic update at 6:30. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From now on, if you spring a leak, need a water heater, or have hard water,
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Jerry Kelly will fix the leak, install the thing, and make that hard water easy. From the company who's got your whole home covered.
JerryKelly.com. What a great day and what a great weekend. Sunny and beautiful today, less humid, high 76. It'll be cool tonight. Lows in the upper 40s in some suburbs to 56 downtown at the Arch. And then tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, high 80. Saturday, 83. Sunday and Monday, 86 with sun all 4 days. 5 days, actually, counting today. Currently, we're looking at 61 downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:22. Anheuser-Busch back on top. Michelob Ultra is reportedly now the top-selling beer in America. KMOX's Michael Calhoun finds out why and what AB's superpower is from Harry Schumacher, publisher of Beer Business Daily.
Is this legitimate? Is Mich Ultra the number one in America now?
Yes, it is. It's the number one beer. Listen, Michelob Ultra is the number one beer in America by volume. And so yes, that's true. However, in value, meaning dollars, maybe Modelo Especial is still the number one beer only because it's more expensive than Michelob Ultra. So I mean, yes, Michelob Ultra is the number one beer, but there could be a qualifier there, meaning in sales dollars, Modelo Especial does still outsell Michelob Ultra.
It seems like that AB has really shifted their attention. Just casual viewer of St. Louis local sports, for instance, you used to see Budweiser and some Bud Light, but now it's every commercial break. It's Catherine O'Hara and William Dafoe, and they're selling Mich Ultra.
This was very good. No, they have shifted a ton of investment dollars in marketing behind Michelob Ultra. They had kind of the Bud Light hiccup 2.5 years ago with the Dylan Mulvaney thing. So they shifted dollars to Michelob Ultra, which was already growing fast at that point. And it's a no-brainer for them. It's also a more expensive beer than Bud Light and Budweiser. So they have a better margin on that brand. And so it makes sense for them to shift dollars from Bud Light to Michelob Ultra. Anheuser-Busch I got to say, they're one of the only national brewers that are growing market share. And that can't be understated. In a tough beer market, nobody's drinking beer right now. Beer's down, 5%. Wine's down 5%. Spirits are down 5%. Everybody's down 5%. And for them to be growing share is, it's a pretty good achievement, honestly.
If the whole pie isn't growing, where is AB, I guess, taking the share from? And is it all coming with Mich Ultra, or is it because of their breadth that they're able to do that?
They're taking share from Miller Lite and Coors Light, and they're taking share from craft beer, which has really, really taken a hit in the last 2 years. And so that's where they're sourcing their share. You got to give it to AB. I mean, given what happened to Bud Light 2 years ago, they have rebounded better than I could have ever expected. I did not think that that they would have this kind of rebound, and it's a testament to not only AB and their marketing department, but also their distributors who have stepped up and really put Michelob Ultra front and center of their marketing and their focus.
Especially if beer is on the trend that you're saying, does AB look at other alcoholic categories, or does the company maybe even, I know they already, work with some brands on, teas and coffee, type bottling business, but could we see, a return to the Eagle Snacks kind of days? Might they look beyond alcohol? Might they look to THC that you mentioned? Or are they just real good at driving out the margins in this one pure play business?
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to get into other categories. There's been no evidence of that as of yet. But I will say that they're very, they've gotten into spirits with Neutral and Cutwater in a big way. And, they know that their superpower is distribution. And they have a really good distributor network that is solidly behind them, more than any other brewer. And they know that they can, if they have something they want to get on the shelf within 30 days, their distribution network is the only one who can do it in that amount of time. They can get anything on every shelf and every convenience store and grocery store and bar in America within 30 days, more than anybody else can. And that's their superpower. And so they have that strength. They leverage it, and they always have. And that's what they do. That's what they do.
One of the things I pulled from that interview is Michael bringing up Eagle Snacks. Boy, that triggered all kinds of memories.
Eagle Snacks.
It reminds me of going to tailgates with my parents at Mizzou games, and they had Eagle Snacks along with all the food.
I forgot about them. I forgot they don't do them anymore.
They're all shaped in the little A's. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that was a good memory. Anyway, 6:28 time check, sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. The smartest way to do your homework is Hackman Lumber.
Warm weather means homework for homeowners, and for 80 years, Hackman Lumber has been a trusted name for home improvement. If your homework means a new deck, turn to the deck experts at Hackman Lumber. Browse the largest inventory of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. Talk with their experts about treated lumber, cedar, TimberTech, Trex, Envision, AZEK, and Decorators to find the perfect deck for you. Choose from endless railings, balusters, and LED deck lighting options. And they will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials, guaranteed. Hackman has you covered. Building a new fence or replacing an old one? Hackman Lumber now carries in stock Eastern Red Cedar, the perfect choice for long-lasting, beautiful landscaping. Inventory includes 4x4 and 6x6 posts, dog ear pickets, and 2x4 framing. Homeowners and pros will find everything they need to build it right the first time. Visit Hackman Lumber's newly remodeled stores in St. Peters, Pacific, and Troy, Missouri.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7. And we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Check the back seat. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good, because every year dozens of children are forgotten in the back seat. Cars get hot fast and can be deadly, so get it in your head. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
It is 6:30 and right now we have clear skies. It's 61 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Frank Ladd's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Tom and Debbie, the through lanes are busier now southbound on Highway 270, passing the closed exit at St. Charles Rock Road, all due to an overturned tractor trailer that has the exit completely closed. So a little more volume passing that scene, a little more volume as well northbound on Highway 55, ramping onto Highway 270. Reports of an accident as well near Butler Hill, but that one's over on the right shoulder. More volume as well starting to form into that road construction zone northbound on Highway 55 from about Weber Road up through the Carondelet area. North of there, it opens up through South City, headed towards downtown St. Louis. Coming in from St. Charles County, a little extra volume eastbound on Highway 64 passing Wing Haven. East of there, a great run headed up towards the Boone Bridge. Our next traffic update at 6:40, Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast from Joe Lundberg. Sunny and beautiful today, less humid, high 76. Clear and cool tonight, lows in the upper 40s in the suburbs to 56 downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, sunshine and delightful again, a high of 80. We warm up into the mid-80s for the weekend. Currently, it's clear, 61 downtown at the Arch.
And it's now 6:32. The St. Louis Public School District says it is partnering with DESE and the Regional Business Council to create real solutions to strengthen financial stability.
The release from Superintendent Dr. Millicent Borichetti was short on specifics, and the union AFT Local 420 has concerns because they have not been included in any of the talks. The union presented a no confidence vote on Borichetti to the school board because Byron Clemens says they are concerned that the superintendent's solution is to close schools.
We can reconfigure and rebirth schools. We can think differently. Full service community schools, trades high school in North St. Louis. Those are all thinking outside of the box.
Clemens tells KMOX up until now, there has been no plan on closing schools.
We're looking forward to working on a plan together. We encourage people to go out October 1st to a town hall meeting at Vashon at 6 p.m.
Now, Borichetti is proposing an October 20th meeting, which Clemens says they want the public to attend and share their thoughts on what they think should happen. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Beyond Housing is still fighting to get a grocery store in its North County community. They settled their lawsuit with Fields Foods, which moved into the former Save-A-Lot on Page Avenue in Pagedale with much fanfare, but shut its doors after only a few months. Beyond Housing sued for fraud and a broken lease. According to the Business Journal, the two parties have agreed that Fields Foods owner Chris Goodson will pay the organization $800 a month until he pays back the cost of all the equipment inside that was owned by Beyond Housing. Meanwhile, the nonprofit is evaluating a small operator to reopen a grocery store, but it could take $1 million to get it up and running.
Still ahead.
We always hear about the economic impact of a big sporting event on the city, but what about the impact on the opinions of the visitors? I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 6:34.
This is Tom Becker with Climate Masters. We don't just sell air conditioners, we sell comfort. We sell solutions. We sell a job well done, and we fix bad jobs. Climate Masters, because you need someone you can trust, someone who earns your respect and 5-star reviews. Climate Masters, selling high-quality Carrier air conditioners. Turn to the experts. Climate Masters, quality work for over 40 years. Just type in Climate Masters and give us a call.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. That's right, weight loss seminar at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
All right, it is 6:36. We're going to get you traffic and weather here in just 4 minutes. But first, let's get you updated on your money report from Bloomberg, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
Good morning. The U.S. has lowered tariffs on auto imports from the European Union to 15%. That will be retroactive to August 1st. The move cements terms of the framework trade agreement the two sides struck almost 2 months ago. Documents on the government's website detail the changes, reducing duties on a range of goods, including exemptions for the aircraft sector and generic pharmaceutical drugs. Jimmy Kimmel Live attracted a record audience Tuesday night. Nielsen data indicate about 6.25 million people tuned in to see Kimmel's return from a nearly week-long suspension over remarks about Charlie Kirk's assassination. And Bloomberg has learned that Walt Disney is preparing for a possible legal fight with the Trump administration over Kimmel's return. And Target's deal with Taylor Swift not only includes a special edition of the new CD that will be released a week from tomorrow. Target stores will sell an exclusive limited vinyl version of The Life of a Showgirl. About 500 Target stores will open at midnight local time on October 3rd. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been asked many times how Morgan & Morgan became the largest injury firm in the world. I think I know. When someone comes to us for an on-the-job injury, we have a huge workers' compensation practice. But many times we find a defective product that was responsible for that injury. Luckily for them, we have a product liability section headed by my son, Mike. In addition to the comp case, there's a product case too. Other times, the injured worker is fired or harassed for bringing that claim. We have them covered. Our employment lawyers handle retaliation claims as well as wage theft and discrimination cases, and in some cases need to file for Social Security benefits. No problem. We became big for a reason. 30% of our new cases come as referrals from former clients. Hiring us is easy. Go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer, or call Pound Law on your cell, pound 529. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Be part of the moment as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra returns home to Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Conducted by music director Stefan Deneve. Opening weekend, Fanfare for Powell Hall opens a monumental season with a trio of fanfares featuring Grammy Award winner soprano Joyce DiDonato, composer in residence Kevin Putz, and Richard Strauss's Ein Heldenleben. September 26th, 27th, and 28th. Tickets at slso.org.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
Fridays mean football. From the zoo to the NFL, we've got your weekend covered.
All three, ready?
It's Friday football on KMOX.
It is 6:40, and that means it's time for traffic and weather. Here is Frank Ladd, because Roger Brand is off today. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center with the latest.
Thanks, Debbie. We're sponsored by Mosby Building R. It's a new crash now eastbound on Highway 44. It's just before the Six Flags exit, blocking the left lane. So you got a slow stretch approaching Six Flags on eastbound 44. Past that through Eureka, Valley Park, Fenton, no issues to report eastbound on Highway 44. We've got volume northbound on Highway 55, approaching Highway 270. Also an accident over on the right shoulder at Butler Hill. So they're ramping onto Highway 270 northbound. It's pretty heavy from northbound 55, as is northbound 55 approaching the roadwork zone. Those delays start south of Weber Road now, north of Rebus Barracks, headed up towards the roadwork zone at Carondelet. Into downtown St. Louis, westbound 5564 is a good run crossing the Poplar. Similar story westbound Highway 70, crossing the Musial Veterans Bridge. That ramp is still closed southbound Highway 270 at St. Charles Rock. Estimated open time will be 7 a.m. It's an overturned tractor trailer. Our next traffic update at 6:50. Frank Ladd and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Take your front door from flat to phenomenal. Launch your curb appeal into another dimension during Mosby's out-of-this-world door sale. A new front door can be yours from just $69 a month. Hurry, sale ends Halloween. Details at callmosby.com.
It is 6:41. Let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. Despite some overnight rain, it looks like things are going to turn out quite lovely today.
They are. The skies have cleared over the past couple of hours, Debbie, and we are going to see our share of sunshine today. It's going to be a beauty as the humidity goes down and the air dries out. This is the beginning of what is going to be a lengthy stretch of dry weather once again across the area. The high 76. Tonight will be clear and cool. An overnight, though, in the upper 40s in some of the chillier suburbs, 56 downtown at the Arch. Sunny skies tomorrow, the high 80, and that's a theme that goes through the weekend with the afternoon warmth, too. Sunny skies Saturday, 83, 86 on Sunday and Monday with sunshine persisting. 60 right now in St. Peter's, 59 in Florissant, mainly clear, 64 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:42, and the Manhattan Project cleanup is about to start in the Cades Cove subdivision in Florissant, but there's some trepidation among the residents living there. For one reason, only 6 houses are being torn down. The others will remain, and residents aren't confident that the contamination is confined to just those 6 homes.
And another major concern, the Army Corps of Engineers is going to keep Duchesne Park open where children play. There's a dog park. Just Mom's STL, Dawn Chapman.
Part of their world where they're thinking, my God, my kids are playing, and here they are having to remove the Manhattan Project. And lots of people use it, and it's just there's just so much trauma. We talk about the physical health. We don't talk a lot about the emotional health and the toxic stress.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're seeing right now.
The Army Corps of Engineers has given no explanation for leaving the park open. Chapman says she has spent time with Florissant's mayor.
My heart breaks for him because he loves his community. And there's not a darn thing he can do because this is the federal government's decision. It's not up to him. They are removing it, and that's a good thing, right? Because the federal government's coming in and cleaning it. And it's not the result anyone wanted with the homes being demolished, but it's happening. But another person messaged me and said, my God, now with Rika, I'm filling out an application. This killed my husband. And now I have to watch the very thing that killed him be removed. And it's just a reminder that it's real and that it happened and that it could have been prevented. You know, so that's that trauma that you're talking about, that visual reminder of something that happened.
And those people in those 6 houses, have you had any communication with them? Do they know where they're going?
So I have not. I did in the beginning, but we have not since because some of them have already left. But really where our communication comes in is those that still have to live in that subdivision that were not bought out. Some that, don't want to be there anymore. They're worried, they feel unsafe. And, I think for us, we're just trying to offer the support that we can. Some of them want the Corps to come back out and test their property.
Yeah.
For some, the Corps has come out and offered, and they don't know that they trust the Corps, so they don't know that they want to give them permission. And as somebody that's not living that, I can't tell them what to do, nor should I. But, I think we just have got to be aware that this is not normal. This should not be happening in 2025, and that people know that, and they're feeling the consequence of that.
And Chapman says the fear in the Cades Cove subdivision is palpable.
They deliberately chose that neighborhood, and it is beautiful. If you've ever driven through it, it's so gorgeous. You would never think something like this was happening and lurking under the ground, hurting so many people.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
What an incredible weekend of sports we have upon us. First of all, the Ryder Cup. If you don't know by now, the Ryder Cup is going to be featured at Bethpage Black. They will be raucous. They will be rude towards the Europeans. And it's an example of sports as an international score settler. A group of pro golfers, can they give the Americans a break from the news cycles and let people have a distraction and maybe even bring people together rooting for the United States? It's going to be that kind of a weekend at Bethpage. My prediction is a lot of people will migrate towards that golf event at Bethpage. Now, there's also football. That tends to bring people together as well. Let's start with college football, some big games locally. Illinois will be playing USC. You got to think their season for the college football playoff is on the line at this point after getting blasted at Indiana last weekend. Illinois has to get this to be back in consideration. 11 a.m. kickoff for them. Illinois, 23rd ranked team in the country. USC comes in ranked number 21, and the Trojans are playing really well. They're a 6.5-point favorite at Illinois on Saturday morning. UMass at Mizzou. That one kicks off at 6:30 on Saturday. The Tigers ranked 20th in the country, 44-point favorite against UMass, an 0-3 team. Really, at this point, if you're a Mizzou fan, you want to get through that game healthy. You want to see better performances by their pass defense and just an overall well-done game, then a break, and then they have Alabama at Faurot Field on October 11th. It's a great weekend of college football. Number 1, Ohio State at Washington. Number 4, LSU at Ole Miss. Number 6, Oregon at Penn State. Number 17, Alabama at number 5, Georgia. What an incredible weekend of college football. And the NFL is no different. You have some really good games, including the Chiefs, who will be on 97.1 FM. The Chiefs take on the Baltimore Ravens. Both of those teams, surprisingly, at 1-2. So they'll be desperate, and that'll be an exciting one. The Ravens are a 2.5-point favorite on the road at Kansas City. The Cardinals will be at Wrigley Field taking on the Cubs. Cardinals lost last night to the Giants 4-3 and were mathematically eliminated from the NL wildcard race as a result. The Mets own the final wildcard spot in the NL with Arizona and Cincinnati each a game back. And we have the St. Louis Soccer Showcase tonight at 6 o'clock. It's at Hot Shots in Fenton. It's sponsored by Michelob Ultra, and Tomas Ostrak will be the guest. Hot Shots in Fenton, St. Louis City SC celebrated. This is the last one of the year, a Thursday night, 6 o'clock tonight, as we talk some soccer on KMOX. Who's Hot, Who's Not is sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Order online for delivery or pick up premium soil, compost, and mulch at any of their 9 locations. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories. What a great team at St. Louis Composting. Mulch, soil, compost, premium mulch, soil, and compost. 9 locations in the St. Louis area to pick up, or you can have it delivered like we did. STLcompost.com is all you have to do. Just go to STLcompost.com. And fall it's our best season. The great weather in the fall, great time to spruce up your garden or landscaping. It's also a good idea to recycle those pumpkins. Don't throw them in the trash. Take them to STLcompost.com. you'll get a $10 coupon towards your next purchase. And they got the good stuff too. They have the Missouri Botanical Garden soil there, those bags of soil from St. Louis Composting, stlcompost.com.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley for i3 Broadband, the internet provider in the Pauley household. I think you'd love it if you had them as well. We've got the 2 gig package at our home, 2 gig upload, 2 gig download mirrored, and we're spending less money than we did with the cable company for lesser service. Plus, right now, they've got savings over $400 beyond their already low standard pricing. You got questions? They've got answers. Call 877-976-0711, and they've got people there who can answer all your questions, or head to their website, i3broadband.com.
Soul on Fire, the inspiring new movie about St. Louis's own John O'Leary. He's coming to the big screen. His story of triumph and resilience is one you won't forget. In partnership with Cherry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning, The Chris and Amy Show is hosting a special sneak peek Thursday, October 2nd at 7 p.m. at Ronnie's Theater. Listen all this week to The Chris and Amy Show for your chance to win exclusive passes. For full details, visit KMOX.com/events. Now, the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:50. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterey, along with Tom Ackerman and Frank Ladd, who is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, the light of day is shedding some light on this accident. It's southbound Highway 270 at St. Charles Rock Road. Looks like the truck went off the road and into that grassy median between the exit ramp from to southbound to St. Charles Rock Road from southbound 270 and those through lanes. So that's what has that ramp completely blocked, completely shut down. So you're going to have to find a different way to get to Bridgeton there at St. Charles Rock Road. So a little bit of a delay through that stretch, so a little heavier volume on southbound 270. Still dealing with that crash. It's eastbound Highway 44 as well, approaching Six Flags. The left lane remains blocked, so you've got some volume, a little stop-and-go stretch approaching Six Flags. East of there, now no issues to report through Eureka, headed towards the merge with Highway 270. Northbound on Highway 55, you've got heavier volume now into the roadwork zone in South County. Northbound Highway 270, some slower pockets now. Those start to form at Tesson Ferry, Gravois, and again between Big Bend headed up towards Manchester Road. And we're sponsored this time around by the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. Our next traffic update at 6:58. Frank Ladd and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Beautiful weather today. Sunny, less humid, high 76. Clear and cool tonight. Lows in the low 50s. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine. Delightful again, a high of 80. We actually warm up into the mid-80s. On Saturday, it's 83. Sunday and Monday, 86 for the high. Currently, it's clear, 61 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:52. The Frozen Four in St. Louis shoots and scores.
Economically, the St. Louis Sports Commission estimates a $20 million impact from the College Hockey Championships held here in April. Direct sales taxes to the city add up to $593,000. But even more substantial might be the turnaround in what outsiders think about the city. Commission President Mark Schreiber.
We took people who had never been to St. Louis before, and we asked them, how did St. Louis fare relative to their expectations? And 74% of those fans said St. Louis exceeded their expectations.
They also asked visitors to give their one-word impressions before and then asked again after spending time here. First four from the before were arch, dirty, excited, busy. First four after were fun, clean, great, nice. By the way, food spots were a big part of the top 5 attractions. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
We'll have more on this story coming up at 7:22.
A local researcher's work is featured in a big Washington Post article this week about the rise in cancer among millennials.
The number one risk factor for developing cancer is age. But what we're seeing among these folks is the development of cancer much earlier than we've seen previously.
WashU medicine biochemist Dr. Gary Patty says his study is looking at environmental factors like microplastics and forever chemicals that may be fueling the increase in the rise of colorectal cancers in younger people.
What's important, I think, is to when you're choosing what to eat, where to eat, what sort of cookware to buy, to think about what might be there, and make conscious decisions about what it is that you're exposing your body to.
Maybe even give strong consideration to buying a home water filter, says Dr. Patty. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The movie Soul on Fire opens in theaters next month. It's about the life of John O'Leary, who was badly burned as a child and recovered to become an international speaker and writer. The movie and John's stories are closely tied to KMOX. Jack Buck reached out to John in the hospital and motivated his fight to survive, and they had a very special bond for the rest of Jack's life.
It is the story of community. It's a story of heroes. It's a story of good triumphing over evil. And that's the story ultimately that I think our marketplace needs right now.
The movie comes out in theaters October 10th, and the Chris and Amy Show are giving away tickets all week long.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
You know who turns 60 today? Scottie Pippen, Hall of Famer, Chicago Bulls, 6-time world champion, 7-time All-Star, Olympic gold. Scottie Pippen from Arkansas. He is celebrating his 60th birthday today. Also celebrating a birthday, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Lick your hair and wear your buckle shoes.
She is 56, won an Oscar for her role as Velma Kelly in the 2002 film adaptation of Chicago. Also celebrating a birthday is Will Smith. The actor and rapper is 57 today. This is making me feel old. Michael Douglas is 81.
Which is weird because, of course, his wife is Catherine Zeta-Jones. They have the same birthday. Birthdays are sponsored for you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Mark Harder.
This is the best birthday ever.
It's easy to feel apprehensive about getting screened for cancer or to just keep putting it off. But Siteman Cancer Center wants to remind you how important it is, especially after the age of 40. And they also want you to know how easy it is to get it done. GetScreenedNow.com has all the information you need on cancers like prostate, breast, colon, lung cancer. You can also find out your risk of disease by answering just a few simple questions. And then you can find one of the hundreds of screening locations in the area. Even if you're a little farther out, there is probably a place near you. You have heard this before, but catching cancer early dramatically increases the odds of a successful treatment, especially with so many cancers showing up earlier in life. So do not be intimidated. Siteman will make the process as simple as possible. GetScreenedNow.com. Do it for your family and friends who count on you. Do it for yourself. Visit GetScreenedNow.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now, promo code RADIO.
Here is Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We've got a tow truck on the scene, and workers are sweeping debris off the highway, eastbound Highway 44 at Six Flags. So that's the good news. The bad news is the left lane remains blocked, so you've got a stop-and-go stretch now approaching Six Flags eastbound on Highway 44. The ramp remains closed, southbound Highway 270, the ramp to St. Charles Rock Road, due to an overturned tractor-trailer. Our next traffic update at 7:10. Frank Led in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Clear and 61 downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman. These are the stories making news.
Is Michelob Ultra really the number one beer in America now?
So I mean, yes.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Debbie Monterey.
I'm Sean Malone. Whose job is it to transport detainees in need of medical care? I'll tell you about the arguments made in court by both the city and the sheriff's department coming up.
I'm Maria Aquino. It's AFT Local 420's response to St. Louis Public Schools Superintendent's claim she's working to create solutions.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Today will turn out mostly sunny and beautiful with lower humidity and a high of 76.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Federal prosecutors have a big decision to make within the next week, whether to bring criminal charges against former FBI Director James Comey.
Sources tell CBS News prosecutors are considering whether to seek an indictment against Comey, a longtime foe of President Trump.
He was a terrible person, did terrible things.
Prosecutors may charge Comey with lying to Congress about the FBI's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. The 5-year statute of limitations for that runs out on Tuesday. Trump fired Comey 4 months into his first term in 2017. Comey has called Trump morally unfit to be president. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
With a possible government shutdown less than a week away, the Trump administration is threatening to terminate thousands of government workers permanently. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
Usually during a shutdown, so-called non-essential federal workers are furloughed and then paid back when it's over. But in a memo obtained by CBS News, the Office of Management and Budget tells agencies to consider laying off, or in government speak, to issue reduction in force notices to employees in programs that have what's known as discretionary funding that's set to run out on October 1st.
The FBI is investigating yesterday's deadly shooting outside a field office as an act of targeted violence, after officials say they found anti-ICE messages on bullets at the scene. CBS's Omar Villafranca reports from Dallas.
Officials say the gunman shot 3 detainees in a van just outside the building, killing 1. No ICE agents were injured. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons.
There was no way he could have known detainees were in that vehicle. He was just indiscriminately shooting, hoping to cause some carnage and mayhem.
The first wrongful death suit's been filed in the deadly midair collision between a U.S. Army helicopter and an American Airlines plane in Washington, D.C. in January. Attorney Brian Alexander represents the family of one of the 67 people killed.
The controllers here failed to issue a safety alert to the aircraft, advising them to immediately change course to avoid the midair collision.
Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy says he will sleep in prison with his head held high. He was convicted today of financing a political campaign with funding from Muammar Gaddafi's Libyan government. The court in Paris ruled the 70-year-old will have to go to jail, even though he says he'll appeal. The BBC's Hugh Schofield was in the courtroom.
The key news is that Nicolas Sarkozy has been found guilty of one of the charges against him. He's been found guilty of criminal association, but he has not been found guilty. He's been cleared on other charges of essentially embezzlement and illegal party funding. And I think that reflects the complexity of the case.
Dow futures are down 57. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It is 7:04. We have mostly clear skies, 61 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The radioactive contamination from the Manhattan Project cleanup is about to get underway in the Cades Cove subdivision in Florissant.
There are only 6 homes in that entire subdivision that will be demolished because of contamination, but remaining residents are fearful their homes could still be contaminated as well, or even worse down the road that the Corps of Engineers will come back and say they've discovered more contamination. Here's Just Moms STL's Dawn Chapman.
So that's the exact question that we're hearing. And I think that, one thing we can expect and we're going to encourage, I think these public meetings that are held by the Corps of Engineers are going to start getting very crowded. And I think that there's going to be a lot of explaining that the federal government has to do as to why it's been looking in this area and it just now decided to do this. And because some of these people are like, well, if it was really there and they're doing it now, why didn't they find it 20 years ago? 20 years that those people wouldn't have had to have lived next to it, and it could have possibly saved their health.
Chapman says there's no answer to that question, and the Army Corps of Engineers needs to answer it. There's no immediate meeting scheduled. Chapman expects one could happen this fall.
How are St. Louis Public Schools addressing recent findings from a state audit? Superintendent Dr. Millicent Boroschetti sent out a press release.
Boroschetti says the district is actively collaborating with key partners, including DESE and the St. Louis Regional Business Council. However, the one key group not included in that collaboration, the union. Local 420 spokesman Byron Clemens.
The district has been financially stable for a while. We had, up until real recently, a $200 million budget surplus, and we've seen the audit recommendations that action should be taken within the next 2 years, and we recommend following those suggestions.
Last month, the union submitted to the school board a vote of no confidence in Millicent Boroschetti for one reason: her push to close schools without any input.
We would propose that the public get to weigh in on this and come up with some suggestions other than closing schools.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
The public is encouraged to attend a town hall at Vashon High School on October 1st. A fourth suspect, 26-year-old James Roach, now faces a first-degree murder charge in the death of teenage hockey player Colin Brown. Brown was killed by a stray bullet on I-55 last November, and Roach was already in federal custody on unrelated charges. These new counts were filed yesterday, near the 9-month anniversary of the shooting. In a statement, Colin's father thanked police for their continued work, saying it brings his family solace that justice is still being pursued.
Attorneys for the city and the city's sheriff spent yesterday in court fighting over who's responsible for transporting detainees in need of medical care.
Sheriff Alfred Montgomery's colonel testified they do not have the current staffing to adequately protect the courts and transport detainees, while his attorney argues the newly signed bill is an illegal, unfunded mandate. Former Sheriff Vernon Betts says it is possible to do both, as he did.
You get together with your team, and then you set up your budget, and then you know how many people you need and how much money is going to cost you to run that unit for that year.
Afterwards, Sheriff Montgomery's attorney, David Mason, says Betts was not doing both.
Safety and security of the court buildings is job one, and he was falling behind on that. How was he falling behind? Like he said, moving people around to try to make something work.
No decision was made by the judge. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, and Anheuser-Busch.
Is this legitimate? Is Mick Ultra the number one in America now?
Yes, it is.
How did it stage a bounce back at a time when the number of beer drinkers is dwindling? KMOX's Michael Calhoun asked an expert.
Harry Shoemaker is publisher of Beer Business Daily.
You got to give it to AB.
Because he says basically all categories of alcohol, from beer to spirits to wine, are down about 5%, but Michelob Ultra is surging.
Listen, Michelob Ultra is the number one beer in America by volume. And so yes, that's true. However, in value, meaning dollars, maybe Modelo Social is still the number one beer, only because it's more expensive.
But there's, even in that corner, good news for AB about its new leading product.
It's also a more expensive beer than Bud Light and Budweiser. So they have a better margin on that brand.
Advertising is a big part of the success.
Excuse me. Play you for those ultras?
Well, we're kind of high level.
Fascinating.
But so is logistics.
I would say their superpower is distribution.
Shoemaker says it's incredible that AB has the infrastructure to deploy a new product to every store shelf and bar in America within 30 days. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Traffic and weather are next. It's 7:09.
When we started Neovitin back in 2009, we wanted to create a multivitamin that we would take ourselves. That's why we use quality ingredients in our Neovitin Original Formula multivitamin. With over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our physician-formulated proprietary blend, you can be sure you are getting the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin Original Formula multivitamin a try for yourself. Find it at your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for Universal Windows Direct. Fall is the perfect season to tackle those home improvement projects before the weather turns cold. And if your windows are old, drafty, or just plain inefficient, now's the time to finally do something about it. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, no limit whether you need 4 or 14, you only pay for half. And to make it even easier, you'll get 0% financing for 3 years, so no interest, no pressure. So don't wait for the first freeze to realize your windows aren't cutting it. Call 314-334-2522 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com.
Do you like the word thorough? It's a good word, thorough. It means complete, accurate, detailed. Well, when you go to Ophthalmology Associates, you will get a thorough eye examination. The technology is incredible. It's all up to date, the very latest. And Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, and Royer and their staff will make your visit very personal. That's because they believe every patient is unique. Ophthalmology Associates takes all the research and technology and their personal knowledge and expertise and tailor it into an eye care plan that is as unique as you are. Services include everything from expert treatment of cataracts and retinas to comprehensive eye exams for you and the kids, and a full-service optical shop with a ton of frames to choose from. Ophthalmology Associates, 3 St. Louis area locations. Visit youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's check the roads. It's Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thanks, Tom. They're still working with this accident eastbound Highway 44 before Six Flags, still blocking the left lane. Flatbeds are on the scene to get the crashed vehicles out of the way. So you've got delays approaching Six Flags now eastbound on Highway 44. East of there, a great run through the Eureka area, make your way towards Valley Park, the Highway 270 interchange. Still dealing with the closure of the ramp from 270 southbound onto St. Charles Rock Road. That is completely shut down due to an overturned tractor trailer there. It looks like they made some progress on moving that tractor trailer out of the way, but it's still shut down on that ramp. Still seeing pockets of volume northbound on Highway 270, starting at Tesson Ferry up through Grabway, back on the brakes again. Doherty Ferry up through Manchester and through Highway 64 into downtown St. Louis. We are essentially delay-free. It's a great run westbound 5564 and out from the Highway 70 merge up to and crossing the Poplar Street Bridge. Our next traffic update at 7:20. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather. Today will turn out mostly sunny and beautiful, becoming less humid, high 76. Clear and cool tonight. Lows will range from the upper 40s in some of the coolest suburbs to about 56 downtown at the Arch. Plenty of sunshine and delightful tomorrow, high 80. Saturday, sunny and warm, the high 83. Sunday and Monday, very warm with sunshine, the high both days 86. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got sunshine and 61 degrees.
It's 7:13. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker at Joliet Junior College cutting the ribbon on a brand new facility.
New mental and physical health center for students at this college. Very proud of the expansion of mental health care and physical health care across the state of Illinois. It comes at a time when Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans in Washington have taken away mental health care and physical health care funding.
Pritzker says as that funding disappears, there is now the threat of shutting down the federal government at the end of the month.
The National Geospatial Intelligence Agency's new Western headquarters will be unveiled Friday in St. Louis. Governor Kehoe plans to be at the ceremony to celebrate the opening of the 16-block campus, which will employ about 3,100 workers just north of downtown.
The NGA investment in St. Louis is the largest the region has seen. $1.7 billion, the jobs it's bringing in, the amount of money that jobs all earn are high-quality jobs.
The NGA will provide intelligence and combat support in national security, emergency response, among other things.
Boeing plans to move its FA-18 Super Hornet upgrade work out of North St. Louis County by 2027. The company needs to make room to build newer projects here, like the next generation F-47 fighter. The current team of workers won't be out of a job. They'll be moved over to work on these other programs. It doesn't appear the move has anything to do with the current labor dispute with machinists. Aerospace industry consultant Richard Abulafia telling KMOX.
I think the important thing to remember is that this is modification work, and Boeing has never really done a lot of that in St. Louis. St. Louis is a new build center of excellence, and the Super Hornet production program, new build production program, is ending in 2027.
The Machinists Union calls Boeing's decision to move F-18 work, quote, deeply disappointing. A representative criticized the company for making the announcement 8 weeks into their ongoing strike.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. And last night at Oracle Park in San Francisco, former Cardinal Andrew Kisner drove in 2 runs. A sacrifice fly, hit a line drive that dropped in front of a diving Victor Scott. The ball got by Scott for a triple, giving the Giants a 4-3 lead, and that was the final.
Cardinals dropped a close game. Riley O'Brien gave up a run in the 8th inning, kind of a hard luck run for him. Sonny Gray got the start, actually pitched pretty well, ended up with his 200th strikeout of the season. That's back-to-back seasons as a Cardinal with 200-plus strikeouts.
2 misplays in the outfield led to a couple of runs. The Cardinals made 3 errors.
The defense was not good for the Cardinals. Up next, the Chicago Cubs.
It's a day off today. And at Wrigley Field tomorrow, Miles Michaelis will make the start. He's 8-10 on the air at 12:25 tomorrow. Ricky has the lineups at 1:10. I'll bring you the first pitch at 1:20.
With more, KMOX's Matt Pauley.
The Cardinals are eliminated from postseason contention, falling 4-3 to the Giants in a game that features a number of mistakes. The team commits 3 errors, plus a missed diving attempt by Victor Scott II turns a potential single into a run-scoring triple for former Cardinal Andrew Kisner, which is the winning run. The team has played strong defense most of the season, but letdowns will cost them, according to Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol.
With our group, we can't make mistakes. I mean, our margins are thin. Our group knows that, and they've done a nice job of eliminating as many of those as possible. So we've played clean baseball. Today we made a couple of them, but at the end of the day, that's going to happen.
Scott, Jordan Walker, and Alec Burleson are all assessed errors in the game. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Who will be the player to watch in the postseason? We're going to give him the player to bank on, sponsored by Community America Credit Union, invested in you. He has become the 7th player in Major League history to hit 60 home runs in a season. He is Cal Raleigh. 2 solo shots for the Mariners last night against the Rockies, helping the Mariners pick up a 9-2 victory, clinching their 4th AL West title, first since 2001. The only other players to reach 60 home runs in a season are Babe Ruth, Roger Maris, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, and Aaron Judge. Also in the postseason are the Yankees and the Blue Jays, but they have traded spots for the moment. The Blue Jays are now considered a wild card team as the Yankees hold the tiebreaker edge and currently are the leaders in the AL East. The Mariners wrapped up the West, and there's been a flip in the AL Central. The Cleveland Guardians now have a 1-game lead on Detroit in that division. They once trailed Detroit by 15.5 games. Detroit has lost 8 in a row. Toronto, Boston, and Detroit are the 3 wildcard teams, with Houston sitting a game back. The National League wildcard picture had all 3 teams lose last night, the Mets, the Diamondbacks, and the Reds. So going into this weekend, the Mets with a 1-game lead on Arizona and Cincinnati. And on the schedule today for this Thursday, the Mets and the Cubs at Wrigley tonight, the Pirates and the Reds in Cincinnati this morning. And the Diamondbacks will be hosting the Dodgers this afternoon. Lots of scoreboard watching among those teams. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
I had a great day last week with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis where I needed two things done. One, we just wanted our garage door tuned up, our OHD Anywhere app updated, and Anthony, the technician, came over and took care of that. And then I said, hey, are you going to my mother-in-law's today? Is that you on that job? And he said, let me see. Yes, I am, as a matter of fact. So I met Anthony over at my mother-in-law's, and that garage door wasn't staying down. We just could not figure it out. He was able to. There was a loose wire that had to be reconnected. He tuned up that garage door as well, and boom, we were done. And it was still morning. Anthony, great technician at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. They are hiring residential garage door technicians and installers. You get up to a $4,000 hiring bonus. Details apply. Paid training. Technicians drive a company vehicle. Benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Just go to overheaddoorstlouis.com and you can put your information down. They'll call you ASAP. They're looking for you. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:20 and time for us to get you a check of traffic and weather together. It was a rainy overnight, but the sun is shining brightly now. Not sure if that's affecting traffic. Let's get the latest from Frank Ladd and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Hey, Debbie, I'm not seeing any sunshine slowdown so far this morning, so that's the good news. Also good news, they cleared that accident out of the way. All lanes back open eastbound on Highway 44 at Eureka, so those delays should be easing pretty quickly. I'm also looking at the accident, the overturned tractor trailer on the ramp from southbound 270 to the St. Charles Rock Road exit there, and that's back up on its wheels, so that's good news as well. So the ramp remains closed, and we're still seeing some pockets of volume approaching that scene that are a little heavier than normal, but they are making progress on getting that tractor trailer off the ramp from southbound 270 to the Rock Road. You've got your normal pockets of volume through Mid-County, eastbound on Highway 64, east of the Clayton-Warson intersection, headed up towards Big Bend. Similar story, pockets of volume, though, not quite stop and go northbound on Highway 270, north of 55, passing Tesson Ferry, Graboy, and then again between Big Bend and Doherty Ferry in the Manchester area. And you've got your normal pocket of volume entering the work zone. It's a stop-and-go stretch down northbound on Highway 55 before Weber Road, headed up towards Carondelet. Our next traffic update at 7:30. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a sunny, beautiful day today with a high of 76. Tonight, clear and cool. It's going to be really cool in the suburbs. Some of them will see upper 40s. 56 for the low downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, sunny and delightful, says Joe Lundberg, with a high of 80 degrees. Currently, it's 61 downtown.
The news continues at 7:22. We always hear about the economic impact of big sporting events on the city, but what about the opinion impact? KMOX's Michael Calhoun spoke with Mark Schreiber, president of the St. Louis Sports Commission, and found out the Frozen Four College Hockey Championships brought both dollars and good vibes to town.
Tell us the Frozen Four. What kind of impact has it had on the city and the region?
Yeah, we enter these events and we know they're going to have a great impact, especially financially. But it's nice when we can actually do fan surveying and get the results back and have an event like this show that it had over $20 million in economic activity generated by the event. And I think anybody that was downtown or in the region back on that April weekend would concur that it was a great weekend for St. Louis in terms of activity and especially on the economic side of things.
Now, we people may see or hear a headline about an economic impact from a specific event, but when it comes to what that really, means, what are some ways that you can, quantify that? Obviously, hotel rooms. What else beyond that?
Oh, it's all the spending from visitors, and that's a key thing to say here. This isn't local-based spending. It's people from outside of St. Louis coming to St. Louis and spending dollars in our community. So it's everything from hotels to merchandise to restaurants, to transportation, to entertainment, on and on. And, that's an injection of dollars that our community very much can use it at any time. And, it just illustrates the great return that we're able to get here in St. Louis when these major high-profile sporting events come here and we produce them at a level that's very successful.
Now, this really grabbed my attention. I thought this was really cool. For instance, I like to talk with startups that come to St. Louis. What was your impression before you got here? Now that you've experienced it, what do you think of St. Louis? You've done that with the visitors who came for the Frozen Four, hundreds of them. What did they think before they came? And then what do they think after they actually got to experience it for themselves?
Yeah, that's one of our favorite parts of the data that we collected. And I think one of the headlines in all of this is, we took people who had never been to St. Louis before, and we asked them, how did St. Louis fare relative to their expectations? And 74% of those fans said St. Louis exceeded their expectations. And that's a wonderful story for us to be able to tell, because it proves how great of a city and place to visit St. Louis is. And it shows the importance of you bring in people from around the country. And with the Frozen Fours, a lot of people from the Northeast and upper Midwest, they come here. They've never been before. They have a great experience, love the city, and then they go back home with a great story to tell. And it really helps shape the narrative about St. Louis and change perspectives, and that's so important.
Yeah, this is really striking here. Some of the pre-visit impressions, words like dangerous, boring. The post-visit impressions: fun, clean, beautiful, friendly, architecture, hockey. It is really a testament to what actually experiencing St. Louis can do for somebody.
Yeah, exactly. And, sometimes we can be our own worst critics. And, certainly we have our challenges that we have to address. But I think as a community, we should take great pride in how St. Louis shows itself to people that come in here, especially for events like NCAA championships, that we should take pride that people recognize St. Louis is a great place. It's a great city. And the data here backs it up.
It is now 7:27, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Genesis of St. Charles is the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025, based on GMA sales records for 2024. And so I would not put it past them to do this that they're looking to do. That is break all sales records in September. They're calling this the all-out sellout. It has arrived. Genesis of St. Charles, this month only, you receive a $500 gift card with any new vehicle purchase. You want to trade? They're offering more for your pre-owned vehicle than ever before. You want some great service? Every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis Service Valet. That means complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. That is so great that you can buy from a great dealership like Genesis of St. Charles, and then they take care of you for years after that. They have a large selection of new Genesis models, a long list of them. You can buy online and look at that at genesisofstcharles.com. But I do encourage you to go to the dealership. It's beautiful. It's a great spot, and they have great coffee. 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive at I-70, genesisofstcharles.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We've got sunshine downtown. It's 61 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. It's Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the good news, as I said last update, they've got the tractor trailer up on its wheels now, up on pavement. So that's good news on the exit ramp from southbound 270 to St. Charles Rock Road. So they're making progress there. That ramp remains closed, though. All through lanes are still open, but the ramp to the Rock Road remains closed. But they're getting closer. There's a tow truck on the scene as well with that tractor trailer. So that's the good news. Seeing pockets of volume coming in from St. Charles County, eastbound on Highway 70. No stop-and-go stretches, though, between Lake St. Louis and Highway 79 all the way to the Blanchette Bridge. You've got pockets of volume as well, eastbound 64 from the Lake St. Louis area, headed through a little heavier stretch near Wing Haven. East of there, good run towards the Boone Bridge. Northbound on Highway 270 this morning, your normal slow-and-go stretches between 55 and 44. You're back on the brakes again between, looks like Big Bend now, headed up towards Manchester Road. Eastbound on 64, a little bit of extra volume now east of the Clayton-Warson interchange, headed towards Big Bend, and you're heavy into that work zone northbound on Highway 55. Our next traffic update at 7:40, Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be mostly sunny today and less humid with a high of 76 degrees. Clear and cool overnight. We may be as cool as the upper 40s in some of the outlying suburbs. Right now it's 62 degrees and clear, and the weather sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It's 7:32. A St. Louis County man is in jail on a $500,000 bond charged with kidnapping a 13-year-old girl directly from her middle school. Florissant police say 43-year-old James Paulette went to Cross Keys Middle School on Tuesday morning, falsely claimed to be a relative, and lied about a death in the family to get staff to release the student to him. Investigators used surveillance video to identify Paulette. They found the girl at his home safe about 6 hours later. According to the probable cause statement, Paulette, who has a prior federal drug conviction, admitted he took the girl so they could play video games at his house. The Ferguson-Florissant School District notified families of the incident through a letter and said it is reevaluating its safety protocols.
A St. Louis elected official believes their vehicle took a bullet Tuesday, but police say the sound came from a collision with a parked car. Ring camera footage captured the sound. The St. Louis City Police Department detectives and crime lab techs quickly launched a full investigation, including interviewing the official again and reviewing surveillance footage. Though investigators noted the mirror damage, they determined it was not consistent with a gunshot. There were no shot spotter activations in the area. Surveillance video ultimately revealed the elected official's vehicle had actually been struck by a truck, causing the loud noise and mirror damage.
What's causing a rise in certain cancers among millennials?
WashU medicine biochemist Dr. Gary Patty says his study is looking at possible environmental causes like microplastics and forever chemicals that may be fueling this increase in the rise of colorectal cancers in younger people.
My main message would be to think about what you're exposing your body to. Think about what you're eating. Pay attention to your diet. Keep up with the recommendations for screening and the recommendations for cancer-related vaccines. Stay on top of it all. Particularly, you might think that cancer is an old person associated disease, but as I say, some of these new trends that's changing some. You want to be exceptionally careful.
Dr. Patty's work was featured earlier this week in a big Washington Post article. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your money report next.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
It is 7:35. It is time for us to get you caught up on your money report, and it's sponsored for you by Busey Bank.
Good morning. Executives from a couple of technology companies have reportedly been talking. Sources tell Bloomberg that Intel has approached Apple, hoping the iPhone maker will make an investment in the chip maker. The reports say Apple and Intel have also discussed ways they might work together more closely. Best Buy is making job cuts across the company. The retailer is laying off employees in its customer care and in-home field teams. Members of the Geek Squad, the group that helps customers with technology support and repair services, are part of the reductions. A spokesperson tells Bloomberg a very small number of workers were affected. Best Buy has more than 80,000 employees. KB Home posted quarterly results after the markets closed. Earnings and deliveries were better than expected, but the company trimmed its revenue forecast for the year, saying the housing market remained slow. And tech stocks led the stock market lower for a second day in a row. Yesterday's losses for the major averages were modest, all around 0.33%. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Since we opened our doors in 1868, Busey has fostered deep customer relationships and vibrant communities, embodying a legacy of partnership and progress. With multiple lines of business, we provide a range of financial solutions tailored to your needs. From digital banking to planning for retirement, Busey is here to help you achieve your financial goals. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
That they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than $4 for years? Now it's why pay more than $2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than $2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
Hey, just check the mail. We've been invited to a seminar and dinner is free.
It's going to be chicken and it'll taste like Play-Doh.
Don't be fooled. All seminars are not the same. For example, Steve All, an investment advisor representative and founder of the All Financial Group, will be hosting his Taxes and Retirement Seminar at Bishop's Post, October 7th and 9th. From the big beautiful bill to taxes on your Social Security, Steve will not only cover the hurdles you'll face in retirement, but ways to keep more money in your pocket and less in Uncle Sam's. This is a complimentary event, but seating is limited, so reserve your seat today. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
You know, hon, I've always been interested in us buying a timeshare.
I'd rather eat Play-Doh.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decision.
This is Tom Becker with Climate Masters. We don't just sell air conditioners, we sell comfort. We sell solutions. We sell a job well done, and we fix bad jobs. Climate Masters, because you need someone you can trust. Someone who earns your respect and 5-star reviews. Climate Masters, selling high-quality Carrier air conditioners. Turn to the experts. Climate Masters, quality work for over 40 years. Just type in Climate Masters and give us a call.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
The countdown to kickoff starts here. Friday's focus on Mizzou, the Chiefs, and the NFL, only on KMOX.
It's 7:39. You've probably heard of catfishing when it comes to dating, but what about when it comes to the job market? A new report from Monster.com, the 2025 Career Catfishing Report, suggests nearly 80% of workers say they've had a catfishing experience when it comes to employment.
79% say they accepted a job that didn't match what was promised. 67% believe a coworker misrepresented their qualifications. 49% say work responsibilities were different than expected. 21% say the company culture was misrepresented. And 13% say they career catfish themselves, usually by exaggerating their own skills.
Okay, so that's new to me, career catfishing.
I'd never heard it either.
Never
but
heard
it's
of this.
Interesting.
Can I admit something? When I started working behind the glass producing on Sunday morning, I didn't know what I was doing. I got thrown into the fire. You just kind of learn on the fly, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a sportcaster.
But did you say, I know exactly what I'm doing? I've done this a million times before.
I'm like, I've got this. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, what the heck does this mean? But you just kind of like get into it. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
That's going back a long ways.
I do know people who have accepted a job and then the job is not at all.
Yeah. I mean, that's no good.
Yeah. That stinks.
If you're putting so much into changing a job, I mean, you're talking about affecting lives there, your livelihood depends on it. Back then I was just a part-time, just trying to scrape together some bucks.
And now look at you.
Oh my goodness. Frank Ladd is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, within the past minute, they've opened up that ramp from southbound Highway 270 onto St. Charles Rock Road. They got that tractor trailer out of the way. That accident happened in the 3 a.m. hour. So it's been a good 4 hours now that they had that ramp shut down. But it is back open, southbound 270, the ramp to St. Charles Rock Road. Still seeing delays into the work zone northbound on Highway 55. Revis Barracks headed up to the work zone there. You've got slow pockets now northbound on Highway 270 between 55 and 44. Stop and go now between Big Bend and Doherty Ferry up to about Manchester Road. You're busy headed eastbound on 64 from Clayton Warson, headed in towards Big Bend. Westbound on Highway 64, you've got your normal pocket of volume passing Forest Park. And you've got some delays headed towards the Poplar Street Bridge now. Westbound Highway 55-64 headed towards the Poplar. Reports of a crash on the Illinois end of the Poplar span there. Heavy as well ramping onto the Poplar northbound Route 3. Our next traffic update at 7:50. I'm Frank Ladd in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. Has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
All right, let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg, because it certainly seems like it's shaping up to be a beautiful day.
It really is, Debbie. I mean, the clouds have moved away to our south and east. We've got sunshine now, and it's going to be a mostly sunny, beautiful day with lower humidity and a high of 76. And it just gets even nicer than that going forward. Clear skies tonight with light winds. Some of the outlying areas could get into the upper 40s. Most of us will be in the low to mid 50s, about 56 downtown at the Arch. Sunny, a little bit warmer tomorrow with a high of 80. That's 80 degrees. That's a trend that continues through the weekend with sunshine Saturday. We get to 83, maybe 86 with sunshine on Sunday and Monday. 59 at St. Peter's, 61 in Florissant, sunny, and 63 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 7:43 on Total Information AM. With Halloween coming, the Hershey Company received an early treat.
People, it's Reese's season.
U.S. District Judge Melissa Damian dismissed a lawsuit claiming the company's Reese candies tricked consumers by depicting spooky Hollywood designs on their packaging, while the chocolates themselves were actually featureless. The judge ruled consumers who filed the class action lawsuit failed to show that the lack of details on the chocolate and peanut butter candies caused them economic harm. Judge Damian pointed out that while the consumers might have been disappointed by the chocolate's appearance, the chocolate still tasted like chocolate. Michael Toscano, CBS News.
That makes me laugh. If your Halloween stash never makes it to October 31st, you are not alone. An Instacart study says Reese's peanut butter cups, whether they look like the package or not, are once again America's top spooky snack, followed by peanut M&Ms and Kit Kats. But apparently Utah takes the cake. People there bought 50% more candy than any other state last year. On the flip side, Hawaii, Florida, and California had the lowest. And have you seen the price of a bag of candy? I am a little concerned how much do-re-mi we're going to be shelling out at Halloween.
Do you get a lot of trick-or-treaters?
We get a ton.
Yeah, we don't.
It's going to be very expensive.
John O'Leary's new movie is coming out next month. Soul on Fire. It comes out on October 10th. You probably know his story by now if you've been listening to our station. As a little boy, John was badly burned, and his special relationship with Jack Buck helped him fight to survive.
And a man whose voice and heart penetrated the airwaves and our hearts for almost 5 decades. And so every single time I'm with KMOX, it's more meaningful. And I say this with humility, but truth, man, it's more meaningful than almost any other work I do because we carry forward that legacy.
William H. Macy stars as Jack Buck. John Corbett is in this movie. The Chris and Amy Show is giving away tickets to see it all week on their show at 7:45. Coming up tonight, the St. Louis Soccer Showcase. Hot Shots in Fenton, 6 o'clock start. St. Louis City SC's Tomas Ostrak will be there. Ostrak's one of the OGs. He was on the original St. Louis City SC roster. It'll be good to see him out there. Again, Hot Shots in Fenton. If you are a St. Louis City fan or just a sports fan in town, this is a really great thing they've been doing. It's presented by Michelob Ultra, and it'll be exciting to see everybody out there. City in year number 3. They play on Saturday night at 7:30 against LAFC at Energizer Park. Busy weekend. The Blues are playing this weekend at home against the Blackhawks on Saturday night. They'll get started out there as they take on the Blackhawks in an exhibition game, and that will face off on Saturday at 6 o'clock. Mizzou is playing at 6:30. They're at home on Saturday night at Faurot Field against UMass. Final tune-up before they really get into it. Alabama will be their opponent 2 weeks from now at Faurot Field. Illinois has a big one on Saturday at 11 a.m. They host USC. It's a huge college football weekend with some monster matchups, including LSU and Ole Miss, Oregon and Penn State, Georgia and Alabama. It's going to be pretty wild. And even in the NFL, there's some big matchups, including one on 97.1 FM as the Chiefs and Ravens will hook up. Who would have thought they'd both be 1-2 going into this game? That's a desperate game for both, really. The Ravens are a 2.5-point favorite at Arrowhead Stadium. As for the Cardinals, their playoff chances came to an end yesterday. Let's get the latest from KMOX's Matt Pauley.
The Cardinals fall to the Giants 4-3, which officially eliminates them from playoff contention. While it's looked bleak for a while, it becomes mathematically impossible with just 3 games left in the regular season. Manager Oliver Marmol is disappointed that the season will end on Sunday, but is also proud of his club.
End of the day, we come up short, but this group's done a really nice job with injuries and, some guys going down on the position player side, trade deadline, all of it, and still to fight to this point of the season is awesome.
This is the 3rd straight year the team has missed the playoffs. The last time they went 3 straight years without postseason play was from 2016 to 2018. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Matt, let's get you updated on the NL wildcard race. Right now, the Mets, the Reds, and the Diamondbacks are the teams involved. They all lost last night. The Mets lead the Diamondbacks and Reds by a game each in that race. In the American League, it's gotten crazy. You have the Detroit Tigers having lost 9 straight games. They are now 8 straight games. They are now a wild card team. The Guardians have passed them. They have a 1-game lead in the AL Central. The Mariners have clinched the AL West. Toronto and the Yankees are now tied atop the AL East. Current wild card teams are Toronto, Boston, and Detroit. You know what else is happening this weekend? Oh, the Ryder Cup. Just throw that in there. The U.S. against Europe. I mean, this is going to be an unbelievable sports weekend. Ins and Outs, sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. You talk about unbelievable. Enjoy the lakeside living and endless activities at Innsbrook. That is your retreat from the everyday. Escape to a peaceful retreat. Natural beauty meets modern comfort. A weekend getaway, maybe even you'll be tempted to buy a home there and have a permanent residence at Innsbrook. It is a sanctuary. It really is. And it's only an hour from downtown St. Louis, 45 minutes from central St. Louis County, half hour from Chesterfield. I mean, it's right there. Innsbrook-resort.com. They have world-class golf. They have 100 lakes. I remember a great morning where Angie and I went out kayaking before the kids got stirring in the house. I mean, it was just an incredible vacation weekend. Innsbrook-resort.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. That's right, weight loss seminar at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER. KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra and their monumental tour, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, to Enterprise Center December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefit Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. And right now, Trans-Siberian Orchestra is offering their lowest ticket price in years, starting at $55 including fees, only for a limited time. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's take a look at traffic and weather at 7:51. Here's Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thanks, Debbie. Looking at a crash now at southbound Highway 270, blocking the left lane at Ladue Road. So you've got delays in that stretch headed southbound on Highway 270. Northbound Highway 270 drivers, you've got your normal pockets of volume starting at 55 up through about 44. Heavier north of Big Bend up towards Manchester Road and Highway 64. Into downtown St. Louis, reports of a crash now on the Illinois end of the Poplar Street Bridge. That's westbound 5564. So you've got some volume that stretches back towards the Eads Bridge split headed towards downtown St. Louis. Busy as well. Headed into the depressed section northbound on Highway 55, and that heads on to eastbound Highway 44 through the depressed section, headed up towards the Musial Veterans Bridge. Normal pockets of volume as well, eastbound on Highway 64, making your way east of Clayton Gorson, headed towards Big Bend. And it's busy out in St. Charles County, just in pockets, though. Eastbound on Highway 70, passing Lake St. Louis up to 79. Similar story, eastbound 64 between Lake St. Louis and about Winghaven. Busy coming up the hill as well, eastbound 64, headed towards Clarkson. We're sponsored this time around by Mosby Building Arts. Our next traffic update at 7:58, Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're ready for a big run of beautiful weather. We have a sunny and beautiful day today with a high of 76. It'll be less humid. Tonight, clear and cool. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine and delightful. We're back up to 80. We'll get around 50 or so tonight. Saturday and Sunday, we're getting into the mid 80s. I mean, just phenomenal weather for the weekend. Currently, it's sunny. It's 61 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52. Authorities say the fatal shooting Wednesday outside the ICE facility in Dallas was an act of targeted violence that stopped when the sniper on a nearby rooftop turned his weapon on himself. Officials say the suspected gunman was 29-year-old Joshua John, who may have been motivated by an anti-ICE agenda. More from CBS's Omar Villafranca.
The FBI pointed to a possible motive.
Early evidence from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature.
As the Trump administration has doubled down on immigration enforcement, DHS says attacks against ICE agents have increased by around 1,000% since the president took office, including the bomb threat just last month at this same facility.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says the federal government has stepped up security at ICE facilities around the country.
Mass firings might be the Trump administration response to a government shutdown.
The White House is telling federal agencies to prepare large-scale firings if Congress fails to pass a funding bill forcing a government shutdown next week. The Office of Management and Budget says agencies should consider a reduction in force for federal programs whose funding would lapse, is not otherwise funded, and is, quote, not consistent with the president's priorities. A reduction in force would eliminate positions, a much more aggressive step than in previous shutdowns when federal workers not deemed essential were furloughed but returned to their jobs once Congress approved the spending. Ben Thomas, Washington.
Delta Airlines making changes to its Airbus jets to stop toxic fumes from leaking into the cabin.
Last week, the Wall Street Journal reported about thousands of cases where fumes from an Airbus jet's engines have given passengers and crew concussion-like brain injuries. Dr. Robert Harrison has treated more than 100 flight crew members.
And it gets into their brain and can affect the other parts of the nervous system.
Now, the journal reports Delta is replacing the auxiliary power units in the tails of its Airbus jets. Those units can pump the toxic air into the cabin when the plane's two main engines aren't running. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Honda is discontinuing production on an electric vehicle. Here's correspondent Jesse Mitchell.
Honda is pulling the plug on production of the Acura ZDX electric crossover SUV, which was assembled by General Motors plant in Tennessee. In a statement, the Japanese car maker cited market conditions for its decision to stop making the vehicle. The move comes as U.S. federal tax credits for EV purchases are set to expire next week.
Owning a car is getting more expensive. A new Bankrate study finds the average cost of car insurance, taxes, routine maintenance, and gas adds up to $6,900 a year. That's a 3.1% increase from last year.
Most dealerships already had their supplies on the lot. Tariffs came into play a little bit later on in the year. So next year is when we really anticipate drivers to see the impact on not just the cost of purchasing a vehicle, but the cost of maintaining, owning a vehicle, and the cost of car insurance.
Shannon Martin with Bankrate says car insurance rates are up 15% from just a year ago. And she says the new auto tariffs will push ownership costs even higher.
It's 7:56.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Well, I had that really great success story this past Monday on Underdog. It was a good win. It was a good win. That felt good. Now I got a little money in the bank. So I'm looking at Seattle at Arizona tonight. Yes, NFL tonight. Seattle at Arizona. That's interesting. I also see Ryder Cup on here. Ooh. There's Ryder Cup on here as well. Underdog's a great app. It's really a lot of fun. A lot of people have been asking me about it. Is it easy to use? Do I have to be a sports fan to understand it? No, you do not. I mean, it's really simple. Football's back. Ryder Cup this weekend. Playing on Underdog is easy. You just choose whether players will go higher or lower on stats. That's it. You get your entries right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. No kidding. You can play with as little as $1. It's very, very fun. Just download the app, Underdog, sign up with promo code TOM. Don't forget to do that. Promo code TOM, and you'll score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code TOM, must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now, promo code RADIO.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Let's get the latest from Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We've got more emergency vehicles on the scene now. Southbound Highway 270, this accident at Ladue. Looks like you've got two left lanes blocked there. That has you backed up to before Page now on southbound Highway 270. And you've got delays into downtown St. Louis, westbound 5564 crossing the Poplar. Normal volume and stop and go in stretches northbound on Highway 270 between Gravois and Manchester. Our next traffic update at 8:10. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
61 degrees and sunny downtown at the Arch. With Debbie Monterey, I'm Tom Ackerman. Megan Lynch follows us, and the new NGA headquarters in St. Louis is now on the map. Learn more about the role of the agency coming up.
The majority of Americans say they're behind on retirement savings, the latest from Bankrate.
An Anheuser-Busch product gets more pours than others. Michael Calhoun will have more.
And you'll hear from an author who says, we need to stop trying. She'll explain coming up.
Already. It's 8.
Winner of the National Edward R. Murrow Award for Breaking News. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Brand new numbers from the Commerce Department show the economy did a lot better than first reported in the last quarter. CBS's Jason Brooks on the surprise rebound.
Economic growth was stronger than expected, with the government revising second quarter GDP higher to 3.8% from 3.3%. A big surprise for the market, which expected the numbers to remain steady. The increase in GDP is credited to lower imports and stronger consumer spending.
Orders for big ticket items like appliances and electronics, the unexpected bright spots. A possible government shutdown is less than a week away, which could mean hundreds of thousands of federal workers will be furloughed. But the Trump administration is threatening to cut some jobs permanently if Democrats don't make a deal. Correspondent Ed O'Keefe is in Washington.
In exchange for their votes, Democrats want concessions like rolling back this year's Medicaid cuts and extending health insurance tax credits. President Trump canceled a meeting with Democratic congressional leaders that was scheduled for today, calling their demands ridiculous.
Sources tell CBS News federal prosecutors will make a decision quickly on whether to seek an indictment against President Trump's longtime foe, former FBI Director James Comey. Correspondent Scott McFarland.
It's the new top federal prosecutor in the Eastern District of Virginia, Lindsay Halligan, who will decide whether to ask a grand jury to charge former FBI Director James Comey with a crime, and she has until Tuesday to do so. The statute of limitations for allegations that Comey gave false statements to Congress 5 years ago. Comey has denied wrongdoing, but the president publicly demanded Comey's prosecution in a social media post earlier this month.
Delta Airlines is making changes to some of its plans to stop toxic fumes from leaking into the cabin.
Last week, the Wall Street Journal reported about thousands of cases where fumes from an Airbus jet's engines have given passengers and crew concussion-like brain injuries. Dr. Robert Harrison has treated more than 100 flight crew members.
And it gets into their brain and can affect the other parts of the nervous system.
Now, the journal reports Delta is replacing the auxiliary power units in the tails of its Airbus jets. Those units can pump the toxic air into the cabin when the plane's two main engines aren't running. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Big changes on the way at the country's largest coffee chain. Starbucks CEO Brian Niccol has just announced a $1 billion restructuring plan. He says the company will close 1% of its locations in the U.S. and North America and cut about 900 non-retail jobs as part of a transformation strategy. Employees will find out who stays and who goes tomorrow morning. Office workers have been told to work from home. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
Frontotemporal degeneration, or FTD, causes uncharacteristic personality changes, apathy, and unexplained struggles with decision-making, movement, speaking, or language comprehension. It is often misdiagnosed as bipolar disorder, depression, and sometimes just a midlife crisis. Learn more this World FTD Awareness Week by visiting the Association for Frontotemporal Degeneration at theaftd.org. Find help. Share hope. Go now to theaftd.org.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Thursday, September 25th. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch. The radioactive contamination from the Manhattan Project cleanup is about to get underway in the Cades Cove subdivision in Florissant. There are only 6 houses in that entire subdivision that will be demolished because of contamination, but remaining residents are fearful their homes could be contaminated too. Or even worse, down the road that the Corps of Engineers will come back and say they've discovered more. Just Mom's STL's Dawn Chapman.
So that's the exact question that we're hearing. And I think that, you know, one thing we can expect and we're going to encourage, I think these public meetings that are held by the Corps of Engineers are going to start getting very crowded. And I think that there's going to be a lot of explaining that the federal government has to do as to why it's been looking in this area and it just now decided to do this. And you know, because some of these people are like, well, if it was really there and they're doing it now, why didn't they find it 20 years ago? 20 years that those people wouldn't have had to have lived next to it, and it could have possibly saved their health.
Chapman says there's no answer to that question, and the Army Corps of Engineers needs to answer it. There are no immediate meetings scheduled. Chapman says she expects one later this fall. The St. Louis Public School District says it's partnering with DESE and the Regional Business Council to create real solutions to strengthen financial stability.
The release from Superintendent Dr. Millicent Borichetti was short on specifics, and the union AFT Local 420 has concerns because they have not been included in any of the talks. The union presented a no-confidence vote on Borichetti to the school board because Byron Clemens says they are concerned that the superintendent's solution is to close schools.
We can reconfigure and rebirth schools. We can think differently. Full service community schools, trades high school in North St. Louis. Those are all thinking outside of the box.
Clemens tells KMOX up until now, there has been no plan on closing schools.
We're looking forward to working on a plan together. We encourage people to go out October 1st to a town hall meeting at Vashon at 6 p.m.
Now, Borichetti is proposing an October 20th meeting, which Clemens says they want the public to attend and share their thoughts on what they think should happen. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
A St. Louis County man in jail on a $500,000 bond charged with kidnapping a 13-year-old girl directly from her middle school. Florissant police say 43-year-old James Paulette went to Cross Keys Middle School Tuesday morning, falsely claiming to be a relative and lied about a death in the family to get staff to release the student to him. Investigators used surveillance video to identify Paulette. They found the girl at his home safe about 6 hours later. According to the probable cause statement, Paulette admitted he took the girl so they could play video games at his house. The Ferguson-Florissant School District notified families of the incident through a letter and said it is reevaluating its safety protocols. The St. Louis Sports Commission says hosting championships is good business for the city. Commission President Mark Schreiber says they hired a WashU professor to quantify the economic impact of the Frozen Four college hockey championships in April. That number, $20 million, more than $500,000 in direct sales going to the city.
It's nice when we can actually do fan surveying and get the results back and have an event like this show that it had over $20 million in economic activity generated by the event.
And Schreiber says opinions of St. Louis improved among visitors from before their visit to after experiencing the city. Some of the one-word impressions from before included dangerous, boring, and beer. Words given after include food, friendly, and historic. From the KMOX Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, Beyond Housing still fighting to get a grocery store in its North County community. They settled their lawsuit with Fields Foods, which moved into the former Save-A-Lot on Page Avenue in Pagedale with much fanfare, but shut its doors after only a few months. Beyond Housing sued for fraud and a broken lease. According to the Business Journal, the two parties have agreed that Fields Foods owner Chris Goodson will pay the organization $800 a month until he pays back the cost of all the equipment inside that was owned by Beyond Housing. It's 8:08. We'll check traffic and weather together in 2 minutes.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
For 24 monthly bill credits on Experience Beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
We've been here 30 years. 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
It's 8:10. I'm still seeing some delays out there. Let's get the latest on the roads with Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, drivers are delayed headed southbound on Highway 270 now from Dorset down to Ladue. An accident at Ladue has the two left lanes blocked there. A new crash eastbound on Highway 44 just before Kings Highway. Looks like it's a car into the left median wall, so that left lane is blocked. That has you backed up to about Hampton now, but those delays are growing as that left lane is blocked and drivers are slowing to take a look. That's eastbound 44. You've got your normal pockets of volume northbound on Highway 270 now between Big Bend, Manchester, headed up towards 64. Still heavy into that work zone northbound on Highway 55. Start just south of Coronda, left the River to Pear area there. And still some volume into downtown St. Louis, westbound 5564, approaching and crossing the Poplar Street Bridge. Our next traffic update at 8:20. I'm Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A nice day today with sunshine returning. A beautiful afternoon with lower humidity, high 76, and clear and comfortably cool tonight. We'll dip into the upper 40s in some of the coolest suburbs to about 56 downtown at the Arch. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow. A beautiful day, the high 80. Saturday, sunny and warm, high 83. Sunshine and warm for Sunday and Monday, high both days 86. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have sunny skies, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Nearly a decade ago, we started talking about plans to build a new headquarters for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency in North St. Louis. The new campus officially opens with a ceremony tomorrow. On the line, we have David Burzek, Chief of Corporate Communications West at NGA. David, thank you so much for joining us. What a milestone that you've reached now.
Good morning, Megan. Yes, it's a pleasure to join you. And this is when I started smiling when you said nearly a decade ago. Yeah, it's been a long time in the works, and even before that, going ahead and doing all the coordination to go ahead and get an authorized project, military construction project, and then all the search for the sites and the whole process for under the environmental impact statement to look at for a location that started actually in November of 2014.
Well, remind our listeners, if they're not familiar, about the mission and the history of NGA.
Sure. I think I want to do that, telling a little bit of story about maybe the history and remind the listeners that the opening of the new building tomorrow, it's not a news story, but it's a new chapter, in the continuation of NGA's story that's been being told here from St. Louis since 1943. The aeronautical support mission that brought, NGA's predecessors here to St. Louis is a vital part of NGA's mission today. We deliver geospatial intelligence that enhances the effectiveness and lethality of U.S. military forces, provides a decisive advantage to national security policymakers, intelligence professionals, and first responders.
So, when we look at that mission, how is the new facility going to enhance operations?
Megan, NGA recognized a number of years ago that with the proliferation of data that's out there and with the platforms and sensors that provide our analysts the geospatial information and the imagery that we need to produce those products for the warfighters, for national policymakers, that we were going to need a lot of collaboration. It was going to take a whole team effort to maintain that dominance in geospatial intelligence. It's going to require tools and tradecraft, new technologies, new techniques, as well as the skilled workforce to apply them. And that's really what guided us in how we designed and built this facility, to open up some of the workspaces to help enable better collaboration with researchers and with schools and with industry.
What are some of the special features of the new headquarters building?
Some of the biggest special feature, so to speak, is we have a good portion of the building that is actually designed to be used as more unclassified space. And we have a learning center and an innovation center that we have designed specifically to be able to interact better with vendors or with entrepreneurs or researchers to look at different types of technologies, from inception of an idea to implementation of that as a technology or a skill.
Since you mentioned the local vendors, and obviously we've got a lot of startups in the geospatial space here in St. Louis, what's the overall significance of this sector in the region with NGA at the core?
Megan, that the innovation going on and the entrepreneurship here that was going on here in St. Louis was one of the factors that led to the decision for the site, and where that put NGA kind of not right in the middle, but close enough to all of the innovation centers, close enough to the research being done at the universities. And so that puts us right there with those critical thinkers and problem solvers that we would need to move forward in helping to deal with today's and tomorrow's challenges.
And one of the questions that's been asked along the process, and you mentioned, what went into the decision to locate the facility where it's at in North St. Louis. But again, why the decision to locate in that area?
Megan, primarily it offered that location right there because of what was already going on in the community, and because of some of the relationships we've had with the universities here, with Harris Stowe, with the University of Missouri St. Louis, with St. Louis University, and also even University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and others. That spot put us in an area that was a little bit more centrally located, a little bit easier. As much as we like to live in a digital world and say we can operate virtually, there's still a lot to be said for that face-to-face interaction. And this location we have here puts us, very close, a mile or a mile and a half away from, the downtown innovation district, away from Cortex, away from the universities, so that we can very easily collaborate digitally or virtually, or if we need to get together, NGA will have some of those spaces in the new building to be able to do that, to bring people in and look at proof of concept of perhaps a model for geospatial intelligence, or just any of those other types of activities that we could be involved with.
It's been fascinating to drive by and watch this campus go up. Did the new headquarters come in within the original timeline and budget that were projected, as we mentioned, almost a decade ago?
Megan, it did. The project is on track as far as the budget. We're a little bit beyond what we had initially anticipated, but we were still kind of projecting a 2025 moving into the building. So we're pretty close to that. Despite working through the challenges there in 2020 with the pandemic and having to respond to all of those issues. I've got to really give credit to the construction team there and the Corps of Engineers in executing this mega project.
So you've got the opening ceremony tomorrow. Give us a few highlights.
Well, we're going to have a number of visiting dignitaries and a whole bunch of the community and the workforce, and we're going to have an opening ceremony inside the courtyard that's in the center of the building. So it's a really nice space, a really great meeting space for that, and we're going to harken back to some of our roots here. I talked about that aeronautical support mission, and typically whenever those results were printed out and provided every month with the update, our analysts would ring a bell. So the Admiral will be ringing a bell tomorrow to have a bell ringing ceremony as we herald the opening of this new facility, and it's going to be a great day, and I think it's going to be exciting for everybody that has a chance to participate.
Again, that's the new headquarters for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency West. Dave Berzek, Chief of Corporate Communications there. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, and we're looking forward to that ceremony tomorrow.
Thank you, Megan. It was great to be on here with you.
Coming up on Total Information AM, the majority of Americans say they are behind on retirement savings. We're going to get the latest from Bankrate. Plus, an Anheuser-Busch product gets more pores than others. Michael Calhoun will have more for you on that a little bit later on in the show. Let's get an update on the roads with Frank Ladd. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Megan, we're still dealing with this crash. It's eastbound on Highway 44 at Kings Highway. That has you backed up to about Arsenal now. The two left lanes are blocked. It's a vehicle into this center median. They cleared the crash southbound on Highway 270 at Ladue. Still seeing pockets of volume from about Dorset down to Olive. It opens up south of there through that road construction zone at Ladue. A new crash 70 eastbound at Highway 64 out in the Wentzville area. That one reportedly blocking the right lane. And there is a crash at the end of the ramp from 141 to eastbound Highway 64. So you got a little bit of a tight squeeze there ramping onto eastbound 64 from 141. Our next traffic update at 8:30. Frank Ladd of the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Frank. And checking that forecast for today, it's going to be mostly sunny, a pretty day with less humid conditions, a high of 76. Right now we have sunshine, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Hi, it's Margaret from Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Life is change, an election, an illness, a death, and questions. What about my family, my retirement, my estate? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano stand ready to help you plan for your life changes and protect what matters to you. They have listened, planned, and executed thousands of estate plans, taxes, and legal documents for over 30 years, right here in St. Louis. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano make it easy to get started. Go to their website, yourestatematters.com, and request their free webinar. It focuses on simple legal strategies and their process. Then schedule your free personal consultation. Life is change. Plan now. Your estate matters because you matter. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestatematters.com. Choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
Subscription plan featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
back with Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. How's your nest egg? If you feel like you're behind in retirement savings, you're not alone. A new survey shows that nearly 3 in 5 Americans in the workforce feel that way. With me this morning, Mark Hamrick, Senior Economic Analyst at Bankrate. Mark, thanks for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Which generations seem to have the most anxiety about their retirement savings right now?
Well, this shouldn't be too much of a surprise. I think I'll just say I can barely remember when I was younger. And at that point, thinking about retirement seemed almost like a fantasy, something that would be a problem, so to speak, many, many centuries into the future. I think as we get closer to that reality, we realize we have to start taking it more seriously. And what I'd urge here is that all generations take it seriously. We can go into that. But to your question, it's absolutely the people who are approaching retirement sooner rather than later. And we'll begin that as early as age 45, because those who are age 45 to 60, members of Generation X, well, we hear that 69% of them say they believe they're behind where they should be with their retirement savings. And that number is also significant for boomers, 59% of them saying they're behind. So the reality is, when we look across all of the American workers that we surveyed, meant to replicate the cross-section of the American public, only 22% say they are on track.
How many people don't actually know, though, how much they would really need to retire comfortably?
No. There's a couple of ways of answering that question, and it's a great one, so thanks for asking it. We can answer it one way by saying it's a question we asked in the survey. How much do you think you'll need to retire comfortably? And 28% said they do not know. Among those who thought they had an idea, 51% gave the number $500,000 or more in their retirement accounts. And 34%, or about 1 in 3, said more than $1 million. But remember, I just said that 28% said they do not know, but I would also say that it's my assessment that a good number of these who did give a concrete answer are giving an answer that's not quite correct, meaning they need to do more work on this issue. And I could give you a simple reason why. There's a very well-regarded and time-tested formula in terms of how you begin to withdraw from retirement savings when the time comes that you have an account and you can withdraw from it. And that is essentially called the rule of 4. And it's basically this, that let's say that $1 million number, if you tap 4% of that in any given year, that works out to be $40,000. Now, the founder of that, I should say, has sort of revised it to say it could be as much as 5. And with all these things, I would say very importantly, your results may vary. But if you're tapping 5% of $1 million in a given year, that's $50,000. We expect that we'll be able to take advantage of Social Security for everybody who's been paying into that. We know that less than a decade off, those benefits are set to be cut because Congress has done nothing to address a funding shortfall. But I'd simply say to people, ask yourself how much income you'll need to replace in retirement. And then with that rule of 4, or if you upgrade it to 5, is $40,000 or $50,000 a year enough to replace your income? And for many people, that answer will be no.
Are people keeping up with contributions in this economy, especially?
Yeah, that is a worry here, because not only do we find that so many people say they are not on track, but we have a large number or percentage of people who say, frankly, they're not even contributing. So we ask people, how is your retirement savings process going, essentially now versus a year ago? And 36% of the American workers told us, that were Americans in the workforce, told us they're contributing about the same. Now, here's the winning part of the story. 24% said they're contributing more, and the predominant group of that was millennials, who are presumably in the prime of their earning years. 17% said they are earning less, and by the way, that was millennials predominantly as well. The big concern here, 23% said they didn't contribute last year, they're not contributing now. And the predominant group there was members of Generation Z, which is the youngest members of those in the workforce. And for anyone who knows that they're a member of Generation Z, or I would just say if you're a younger member of the workforce, you are in a position to take the most advantage of the power of compounding, which is reflective of the power of time, meaning that every dollar invested immediately will grow over many years because that's what it does when it's invested. And that's why it's better to begin earlier than late, and better to be consistent and continuing to fund this retirement savings program that you're going to need some decades down the road.
That is Bankrate Senior Economic Analyst Mark Hamrick. Mark, thank you so much for your time and insight.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It is 8:29. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
My husband's family knows firsthand the ups and downs of caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's disease. And that's why I'm grateful to once again be part of the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's. It's October 25th at Chesterfield Amphitheater and Central Park. You can join me by going to alz.org/walk. Last year was really amazing to see hundreds of people come together to support each other, to raise awareness, and to raise funds for Alzheimer's care, support, and research. More than $1.3 million raised just here in St. Louis last year. And this year, already more than $750,000 has been pledged. What's important about this is the fact that the number of Americans with Alzheimer's or dementia is projected to rise to nearly 13 million people over the next few years. But for the first time, we've got treatments that become available that address the underlying biology of the disease. The funds raised through the Walk to End Alzheimer's are helping to find those solutions. So I hope you'll join me Saturday, October 25th, Chesterfield Amphitheater in Central Park. Go to alz.org/walk. Again, that is alz.org/walk.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
8:31, time for a check of your ride into work with Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thanks, Megan. We're sponsored by Mosby Building Arts. We've got delays through Wentzville, eastbound on Highway 70, approaching Highway 64. You got an accident right at the end of the entrance ramp, headed to the ramp onto Highway 64 from eastbound Highway 70. So that's what's causing the delays right there. Also dealing with delays eastbound on Highway 44 from Shrewsbury up to the accident at Kings Highway. The two left lanes are blocked there. We've thinned out now, headed southbound on Highway 270. That earlier crash at Ladue Road is long gone. That's the good news. Thinning out as well northbound on Highway 270 between Highway 44 and Manchester Road. Just a little off the pace. Make your way past Manchester Road, headed up towards Highway 64. Our next traffic update at 8:40. I'm Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Take your basement from storage to stellar during Mosby's out-of-this-world basement sale. Take advantage of the low monthly payments to add a game room, wine cellar, home gym, home theater, and more. Hurry because the sale ends Halloween. Details at callmosby.com.
It's going to be a really pretty day today. Sunny and less humid. A high of 76. Right now, sunny skies, 61 downtown at the Arch. Anheuser-Busch back on top. Michelob Ultra reported to be the top-selling beer in America. KMOX's Michael Calhoun spoke with Harry Schumacher, publisher of Beer Business Daily.
Is this legitimate? Is Mich Ultra the #1 in America now?
Yes, it is. It's the #1 beer. Listen, Michelob Ultra is the #1 beer in America by volume. And so yes, that's true. However, in value, meaning dollars, maybe Modelo Social is still the #1 beer only because it's more expensive than Michelob Ultra.
Seems like that AB has really shifted their attention. Just casual viewer of St. Louis local sports, for instance, you used to see Budweiser and some Bud Light, but now it's every commercial break. It's Catherine O'Hara and William Dafoe, and they're selling Mich Ultra.
No, they have shifted a ton of investment dollars in marketing behind Michelob Ultra. They had kind of the Bud Light hiccup 2.5 years ago with the Dylan Mulvaney thing. So they shifted dollars to Michelob Ultra, which was already growing fast at that point. And it's a no-brainer for them. It's also a more expensive beer than Bud Light and Budweiser. So they have a better margin on that brand. And so it makes sense for them to shift dollars from Bud Light to Michelob Ultra. Anheuser-Busch, I got to say, they're one of the only national brewers that are growing market share. And that can't be understated. In a tough beer market, nobody's drinking beer right now. Beer's down, 5%. Wine's down 5%. Spirits are down 5%. Everybody's down 5%. And for them to be growing share it's a pretty good achievement, honestly.
That is Michael Calhoun with Harry Schumacher, publisher of Beer Business Daily. Your Money Report next.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact-check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
At California Psychics, we know that sometimes you can wake up thinking,
I don't know if I'm in the right career. Or the right relationship.
But whatever your life dilemma, at California Psychics, we'll give you the guidance you need to feel certain about your life choices. And because we only connect you with the very best, we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
It's time for your Money Report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Kimberly Adams.
Good morning. You might see fewer Starbucks coffee houses near you. The company says it will cut about 900 jobs and close some of its coffee houses as part of a restructuring plan. The move will cost the company about $1 billion. Starbucks has been making many changes, from tweaks to its menu items, employee dresswear, to physical changes inside its shops as it tries to revitalize its coffee houses under CEO Brian Niccol. A federal court gave preliminary approval to Google's $30 million agreement to settle a privacy suit over the collection of data from young YouTube viewers. The information was allegedly used to target viewers with behavioral advertising. And it's been an expensive lesson for Porsche, Mercedes, and others. Most luxury car buyers just aren't interested in electric vehicles. Porsche shelved plans for a battery-powered luxury SUV after finding there is weak demand for its Taycan EV. Demand for EVs from Mercedes-Benz and Audi has also been underwhelming. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's Tom Ackerman with the weather looking this good this weekend. It's going to be a great time to get out and buy a new car. I've got the spot for you. It's Genesis of St. Charles. You could do it today and drive away with a beautiful Genesis vehicle. They have a large selection there ready for you to drive home, or you can buy online and let them deliver it to you. Experience luxury service at their state-of-the-art facility, 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway. That's in St. Peters, off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70. It's Genesis of St. Charles, Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership and the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri. Genesis of St. Charles has an all-out sellout going on. They are trying to break an all-sales record in September. This month only, receive a $500 gift card with any new vehicle purchase. You can find it online at genesisofstcharles.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
This is Tom Becker with Climate Masters. We don't just sell air conditioners, we sell comfort. We sell solutions. We sell a job well done, and we fix bad jobs. Climate Masters, because you need someone you can trust, someone who earns your respect and 5-star reviews. Climate Masters, selling high-quality Carrier air conditioners. Turn to the experts. Climate Masters, quality work for over 40 years. Just type in Climate Masters and give us a call.
Looks like there's still quite a few backups out there on the roads. Let's get an update from Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yes, Megan, there are, and we're backed up to Laclede Station now, eastbound on Highway 44, all the way up to an accident at Kings Highway. It's a vehicle into the median. The 2 left lanes are blocked there. Still dealing with that crash eastbound on Highway 64 as well, out in Wentzville. Eastbound Highway 70 at eastbound Highway 64 in Wentzville. That is, you backed up through Wentzville to about Wentzville Parkway. And a reported crash headed into downtown St. Louis. It's just east of Route 3, westbound on Highway 5564. So you've got delays almost back to the Highway 70 merge. I'm Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Jack in the Box.
Your hunt for the perfect breakfast sandwich is over. Jack in the Box's sourdough scramblers, starting at $2.99, come with toasted sourdough, scrambled eggs, melty cheese, and your choice of hickory smoked bacon or grilled sausage. Then does you one better by being available all day.
The forecast for today, sunny, nice, less humid with a high of 76. Right now, sunny skies, 61 in downtown St. Louis. This is Total Information AM. Here's Debbie Monterey.
You know the old adage, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Well, maybe you should stop trying. At least that is the advice of our next guest. Carla Ondrasik is joining us, and she is the author of the book, Stop Trying, The Life-Transforming Power of Trying Less and Doing More. Thanks for being with us, Carla.
Oh, thank you for having me.
All right, this is really interesting because we are told all the time, just keep trying, just try harder, try again. What's wrong with trying?
You know, it is true. We have been taught our entire lives that trying is doing. We're taught that it's like this brave and noble step. But really, when you get into it, there's no act for trying. There's no action. Trying is really something that's half-hearted. So, you know, when you say you're going to try to do something, the reason that it's not encouraging is because you're building in the intention and the potential for failure before you even start. It's like, look, I'm going to try. It may not happen. It may happen, but there's a possibility that I could fail. So you kind of, you have this hesitancy. It's not a strong, powerful way to push somebody and to push our kids. So, there's a big difference between saying, get out there and do your best. If you want to make the team or get in the school play or get an A on your test, do your best is so much different than try your best. Because when you say you're going to try, you're just going to kind of maybe sort of do it halfway. And when you do something full on and you dive into the deep end and you don't make it and you don't make the team and you don't get the A, at least you've given it your all and you've done your best. So to me, it's two totally different statements.
So if I say, okay, I'll try, I'm already hedging my bets.
Absolutely. You're looking for that, excuse or blame as to why you didn't do it and why it didn't happen. And also, when you say just try it, there's no accountability. And that's huge, because if you don't do it, whatever, I only said I would try, right? But when you say you're going to do something, now you have like a built-in sense of accountability to yourself and to another person if you offer to do something on their behalf, right?
What if I say to myself, okay, I am going to do this, and then I do it and I fail? Then what do I tell myself? I'm just going to do it again, not I'm going to try again. Is it really the language in our minds that's important?
Oh, absolutely. Because here's the thing. If you say you're going to try to do something, okay, let's just use, I'm going to try to lose weight, okay? I'm going to try to lose like 5 pounds this month. And you cheat and you quit, and now you're like 20 days into it. And that's where you will fall off the wagon. You'll say, well, I tried. You didn't have any sense of accountability. You were using excuses and blame. And we tend to, okay, I'll try, and then I fail. I'll try again. Maybe I fail again. And then you just give up. We give up on so many of our dreams that we give a try to. But if you say, I'm doing this, and you fail, you learn the lesson. You look at that as an opportunity. Wow, I was doing it and that didn't work. I fell flat on my face. I'm going to pick myself up and I'm going to keep going and do it again. And you keep doing until you either reach the goal or determine, this is not working. I need to pivot. What else can I do? It's a mindset. It's a mindset where you're focused on an outcome, where trying is a mindset where you're faced on the effort.
I'm looking at your bio here, and you are the former vice president of creative writer development for EMI. So you have worked, which is the largest music publisher in the world. So you've worked with some legends, Earth, Wind and Fire, Mariah Carey, Christina Aguilera, Cher, Barbara Streisand. Would you say that is a mindset? Because the music industry, obviously, we all know, is incredibly difficult and challenging to get ahead. Is that a mindset that you saw with the most successful people?
I did, and I had to employ that mindset. There's so much competition. Imagine, I worked with songwriters and everybody wanted to get a song on Christina Aguilera's album or Mariah Carey or Madonna or whoever was the big person of the day. And the competition is amazing. So anyone that was going to, I'll try to get a song on that record, that mindset was not going to get you in the door. It wasn't even going to get your song heard, right? But the mindset of, I'm doing this, it doesn't guarantee any success by any means, but it does guarantee you a better chance of doing something. So you have to go into that strong, determined action of doing mode, no matter what business you're in. But it absolutely helped me. It encouraged me when I said I'm going to get a song to Michael Jackson. I talk about this in the book. I marched myself into his recording studio and said, I have this song here that I think will be a hit for you. It didn't make it on the album, but at the end of the day, I knew for myself and my writers that I gave that song 100% the best chance. So, it's in there. We already know. We already know that trying isn't the best route to take. And I'll ask you, would you put your money in a bank that says, okay, we're going to try and keep track of your money, and we'll try to have it available to you when you want to withdraw it?
No.
Would you? Right? And you don't go to a doctor that says, if you, God forbid, you had to have like a limb removed, right? You wouldn't say, the doctor wouldn't be acceptable if you said, I'm going to try to remember which arm to remember to amputate when we're in the room. No, we want assurances. We want a do mentality every time.
Stop Trying: The Life Transforming Power of Trying Less and Doing More, a book that's getting rave reviews from the likes of Paula Abdul, Gary Sinise, Oral Hershiser, Mel Robbins. My goodness. The author is Carla Andrasik. Thanks so much for spending some time with us, and I will stop trying, and I'm going to do it.
Thank you.
It's Tom Ackerman. Get started at McKelveyHomes.com to learn about McKelvey Homes and where they build in the St. Louis area. All throughout St. Louis County, St. Charles County, they find the best home sites. They always do. President Jim Brennan does a terrific job at McKelvey Homes, and he has a wonderful staff. They are online now at McKelveyHomes.com. You can take a look around. Missouri's oldest home builder, going back to 1898, which also brings to mind what they do giving back to the St. Louis community. Every time they sell a home, they donate $1,898 to a nonprofit. Coming up this Friday night, it's the Dance for Gervais, supporting the Gervais Syndrome Foundation. $1,898 going back to that organization every time McKelvey sells a home. McKelveyHomes.com. Visit them online and move up to McKelvey.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. That's right, weight loss seminar at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Soul on Fire, the inspiring new movie about St. Louis's own John O'Leary, is coming to the big screen. His story of triumph and resilience is one you won't forget. In partnership with Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning, The Chris and Amy Show is hosting a special sneak peek Thursday, October 2nd at 7 p.m. at Ronnie's Theater. Listen all this week to The Chris and Amy Show for your chance to win exclusive passes. For full details, visit KMOX.com/events.
Powell Hall reopening this weekend after a 2-year, $140 million renovation project. A new 3-story lobby was added along with a new education and learning center. KMOX's Stuart McMillan was on hand for rehearsal as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra was tuning up for its first performance back home.
The newly renovated Powell Hall, converted from a movie theater to house the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in 1968, is clean and fresh. Literally, fresh paint signs still on many of the walls as I walk the red carpeted foyers and passageways, heading to my seat below the balcony at the 50-yard line to take in that big sound.
Created a whole central plant, moved it outside of Powell Hall so that that helps to improve the acoustics, but also the energy efficiency of the building.
Anna Levy was a part of the design team as project manager. She says the expansion and renovation set out to fix problems like unwanted noise and sounds during the concerts.
And he literally had to shut down certain things, turn off certain equipment, just so it didn't impact the concert itself. Now with this
air conditioning?
Well, not turning it off per se, but some of the blowers and things like that, because they did impact the acoustics. So now we no longer have that situation. So it's much improved, and it's an automated system. So that helps as well.
Other noticeable differences?
Some of the obvious things are more elevators, more restrooms, more accessibility. The acoustics are improved. We actually have fewer seats, but the seats are slightly bigger, more legroom, easier to get to, and they have cup holders.
Our number one goal was to maintain the acoustics that everybody loved. That we came in with that's what we have to do.
Brian Corey with Kierkegaard Design Firm was in charge of the new acoustic panels.
We introduced new surfaces acoustically. So when you walk in, you'll see those curved walls, the lower walls, where the organ lofts, below the organ lofts used to be. And those are actually taking sound energy from the stage and pushing them into the middle of the audience, where before the sound was going out to the existing shape and it was being pushed to the back corners. So the main seating on the floor was not getting a balanced sound from the stage.
Brian Corey says musicians had issues hearing themselves on the stage because of room echo.
People probably won't know this, but the shapes on the rear wall mimic what were there before. But what was there before was a surface that was curved and spreading sound horizontally. We changed those out with one that's curved horizontally, but also vertically. So the sound is not only spreading side to side, but it's going up and down. And it allows sound to come back to stage so they can hear themselves, because we want them to hear the room, but it's not coming back as a big wave of energy that is distracting.
What a relief to start with, because with acoustics, there is always a little mystery.
I spoke with the music director of SLSO, Stefan Denev, about what he thinks about the changes in sound.
Every time a musician just discovers how wonderful the acoustic is, every time they are blown away by actually the luck we have to play in one of the best acoustics in the world.
Before, you would stand up there and conduct, and tell me the difference of the sound now than what you had before. Is it a night and day difference? Can you tell a big difference? I know you haven't had a big audience in there maybe to drown some of that sound out, but from your best guess.
Well, what is fascinating is that this hall was a success since 1968, when it was transformed into a symphony orchestra hall. And my big wish was to preserve and not alter the qualities of this hall. Yet we wanted to improve some small details. So I would say people who knew the hall before will not be surprised. It's the same warm, woody sound, beautifully resonant, but still clear, very immersive hall. But what we tried is to reinforce, for instance, the presence of the orchestra for the seats at the end of the orchestra under the balcony. And we succeeded. I have to say it's absolutely clear that now every seat in this hall has a very warm presence. And I think it has something of a tiny bit more clarity, slightly brighter sounds, yet with the depth and the warmth, the kind of pyramidal sound that it had before.
The first concerts for the SLSO's 146th season at the newly renovated Powell Hall will be tomorrow through Sunday. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Maybe we should give ourselves a little more credit here in St. Louis. A recent survey suggests out-of-towners have a favorable opinion of us. The Cardinals have been officially eliminated from postseason contention, and Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith will join the show today. Chris and Amy get started right after the news on 104.1 FM KMOX.
At Ophthalmology Associates, their goal is to ensure that every one of their patients enjoys the best possible eyesight at every stage of their life. This is Rick Wallace, and I've been through several life stages with Ophthalmology Associates. I've trusted them with my eye care for almost 30 years. Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, and Royer head up a network of leading specialists in every field of eye health. They're involved in leading-edge research and equipped with the latest technology to handle the most complex situations. And there is always personalized eye care tailored to your individual needs and preferences at Ophthalmology and Associates. Oh yeah, pediatric eye care too, and a full-service optical shop. Ophthalmology Associates. Visit youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended. Balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement. iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99, and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Let's see if we're still looking at delays out there on the roads. Roger Brand is taking some time away. Frank Ladd is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we definitely have delays on eastbound Highway 44 from about Laclede Station up to Kings Highway. That crash is still there. The two left lanes remain blocked there. The good news is it looks like there's a tow vehicle on the scene, so they're going to get this car out of those two left lanes pretty quickly, hopefully, eastbound on Highway 44. They cleared the crash eastbound on Highway 70 and Highway 64 out in Wentzville. That's the good news. Still a pocket of volume there. They just cleared a crash as well northbound on Highway 270, the ramp to eastbound Highway 70 back open. I'm Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX.